Purple carrot's a strong carrot.
Alright, gang. We are live. Welcome to the world of Hearthron. I'm your host, storyteller, and dungeon master, Bilbo. Tonight, we are playing Into the Borderlands, which has been reincarnated by Goodman Games for 5th edition. Goodman Games partnered with Wizards of the Coast to put out Into the Borderlands. The Keep of the Borderlands came out in 1980. This is my favorite adventure of all time. So I can't wait to share it with my players and all of you watching here. Before we start, a couple quick things. Please follow us on Twitch if you're checking this out. And if you check this out later on YouTube, please hit that like button. Follow us. There's a subscribe button out there on YouTube. We are a small channel trying to grow our viewership. We seem to start getting starting to get some views, quite a bit of views in some of our stuff. But I would like some more subscribers so we know that the love's out there for us. On Wednesday nights, we also play Tales from the Yawning Portal at 7:30 Central Time, and where we have just cracked open White Plume Mountain. And actually haven't even cracked open the mountain yet. But they're going into White Plume Mountain. There we've already been through the Sunless Citadel, Forge of Fury, and they finished the Hidden Shrine of Tomoa-chan, and now our White Plume Mountain. And so I know some of our viewers are pretty, they like that we've gone through each one of those. Some of them stopped at one or started at one, and so it's kind of cool. A couple of our viewers have mentioned that it's pretty cool that we're actually going through each of the adventures and tales of the Yawning Portal. So, with that, let's begin Keep of the Borderlands. So, what we will do is we're going to go around and kind of introduce characters, almost in the sense as they come up to the keep. I believe most of them are traveling together, except for a couple people. So I think I'm going to start with them. And I'll give you guys here the intro as you guys are approaching here. So you've traveled for many days, leaving the realm, and entering into the wilder area of the Borderlands. Farms and towns have become less frequent, and travelers far. The road has climbed higher as you enter the forested and mountainous country. You now move up the narrow, rocky track. A sheer wall of natural stone is to your left, the path falling away to a steep cliff on your right. There is a small widening ahead where the main gate to the keep resides. There are blue-clad men-at-arms who guard the entrance, shout to give your names and state your business. All along the wall, you see curious faces peering down at you, eager to welcome the new champions, maybe a blah, but ready with crossbow and halberd to give another sort of welcome to enemies. So, Ozachar, what do you look like? And as you approach, and what is your business here? It's the human in this blue tabard says over the wall.
Ozachar's roughly about 5'8", purple hair with like a ponytail mohawk, and silver eyes with blue scales instead of red dots like they usually have, and ram-shaped horns with his 6-foot-long tail with a forked end sticking out the back of his scale mail, with a shield with bones carved all upon it, and he's carrying a long sword and a morning star, and
Sorry. Sorry, keep going.
I am here to rid these lands of terrible creatures and bandits.
Roll me a d20.
You mean like yourself? Exactly.
4.
A 4. Alright. So, you've also heard that there's this ogre in this area that helps the cave dwellers. How did you hear about this ogre and these cave dwellers?
Well, I am from the city of Kraydon, or the port city of Kraydon, and my parents are scholars, and so we have a lot of information coming in at such 4 times, and there's been a lot of rumor about this stupid big ogre that I'm supposed to rid of this land.
And you have your a holy symbol, anything of that out?
Not right now, entering the city, no.
No, so you have that covered up?
Yep, inside my scale now.
Alright, we're going to be watching you.
Yes, I wouldn't expect anything less.
We'll let you into the keep, but keep at bay here.
I will not stir up any trouble.
They'll open the gate, and a couple of these men at arms come out, and you see now they come down and they have these blue tabards on, and on the center of their tabard is this white horse. Make a religion check.
No fumble.
All right, so you don't know, you don't recognize it at all.
My sword rate.
What could that be? So, they check you over once. Your arms, your weapons. What they kind of inventory? What do you have as weapons?
The morning sword and the morning star and shield.
No missile weapons.
Nope, not yet.
No
Can't afford
daggers or anything.
Nope.
Like that? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So they let you in, and you can go about your business. And you've been here you might be here some time before others enter. So let's go next with our next Cornelius. So as you approach, what do you look like?
So, little over 6 foot tall, gaunt, skinny, wearing a large leather Puritan hat with an Inquisitor's stamp on the hood, or on the center of it. Always scowling. Chainmail with a leather halberd over that. I have a sheathed rapier and some throwing axes, in a bandolier around me. A shield hung up on my back. I'm weary to travel, dusty and dirty. So I approached the people, or the
guard, and they're like, "What is your business here? Roll a d20 for me."
4.
You got the same job.
It's incredible.
Roll it, get again.
No! We're on the same mission! We're on the same mission!
The 2 pals are on the same mission for
Are you human, Cornelius?
What's that?
Are you human?
Is Cornelius human?
Oh, I am human. I am human.
You're worried and of this mad hermit of the Northlands here. How did you hear about this mad hermit?
I come from a temple also from Kraydon, and the head priest there of my order sent me there to purge this mad hermit. And I'm here as a representative of Cordal.
All right.
So I'm here to purge in the name of Cordal.
All right. So they once again open the gates, let you in, and
I wear my religiosity prevalently.
And make a religion check for me.
Maybe you'll do better.
By the
than
way,
one.
religion is an intelligence score? One? I'm not very smart either.
Oh, you know how wise or intelligent.
Oh! That's rolled 8 on the die plus 1.
Okay, so 9. So yeah, you don't recognize it either. You're not sure. You think it is some sort of religious.
I was wrong. It was plus 3, but so I just bring it to 11.
No, that's good enough.
Proficiency
then.
bonus
That's
plus
good
your
enough.
intellect.
So what you definitely know these. So they're wearing the symbols of Gaul, which is the benevolent one, the Almighty God, in a sense, and that usually, they're wearing the standards of the horse, which are in a sense, they are the ones that journey out and are usually known for exploring and conquest, and that's but yeah, so they're wearing galt. You know that the common thing is what you know about. Usually they're called knights. When you see them in this order, this garb, they're called knights of Galt. A lot of times paladins, and yeah, they're holy warriors.
Are our gods aligned, or do they hate each other?
No, because when you're a god of war, Gaul is in the sense for freedom and justice. Yeah, so it's really
Low intelligence.
truth. There's definitely in the sense sometimes they're not the wise. They've had issues in the sense of maybe not the wisest. They'll charge in the battles where they might not charge in battles. You'd also know in the sense of the history, two of the other orders of the Knights of Gaul. You have the horse, you have the shield, and the sword. The shield and the sword both were tricked or somehow possessed, and a lot of their order did a sacrifice, and they became Knights of Koth, which are the opposite end of the spectrums. Koth is all about destruction, chaos, definitely, in the sense which for you would know, in the sense, the ultimate bad, evil, bad guy. So Koth and Gald are at each other's throats. And in a sense, really, you have Gald and Koth war against each other, as in a sense gods, and they're brothers.
I will help Galt, the people of Galt, purge the heretics of Koth.
So yep, they let you in, welcome you in, and so you are in the.
And don't forget Permaskull.
Skull on your face. All right.
I recognize it from the doll.
Let's do the next with is it Alexania? How do you say your name? Alexiana and Aaron. So you two approach. What do you two look like?
Well, especially from afar, a couple of woodly travelers, cloaks and such. As we near, Alexiana's general form is different enough that you probably would notice that she is a tabaxi.
All right.
The features, her facial features of a cat, and her feet are bare, and her hands, have claws to them. But we arrive, no weapons out, bearing. Aaron, do you want to describe yourself?
I have sort of like a mintish blue-green hair, and I am a high elf, and
Warrior of the Wild. Okay.
a warrior of the wild. And then
What kind of armor do you have?
I have studded leather.
What's across your back? Your favorite weapon?
No.
Longbow, and then she's got a rapier.
Perfect.
We both have a rapier.
Did you say Erin is a high elf?
Yep.
Yes.
She's a high elf.
All right. Why don't you both roll d20s for me?
So if you roll a 4, you're gonna have to re-roll it. So.
Exactly.
I
I got a 9. What'd you get?
Okay,
Oh.
10. 9 and a 10.
Nice.
All right.
But your stories are not further apart.
So, Alex, you've heard that there is an imprisoned maiden within the caves
Okay.
of Chaos that are a little north of the keep here.
Okay.
And it is believed that there is a high reward for her freedom that the governor of Kraydon will pay.
Okay. Awesome.
The damn cat gets the reward.
Aaron, you have learned that in Goblin, the language of Goblin,
Which is
that Briark, she speaks
Goblin.
Goblin,
Goblin.
that that you've been hearing, but you don't believe this is true. Briark is we surrender, but you don't believe that. You don't, because you speak Goblin. You don't believe that's true, but there's a rumor spreading around if you say Briark, Briark ain't Goblin to Goblin, or if Goblins are saying it to you, that they surrender. However, you believe that's false. And you don't know what Briark means. So you're curious in the sense, what is this Briark? Maybe, who is this Briark? All right, let's go now with what's it, Oliver and Rizna?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, you two approach. What does Oliver look like?
Oliver is a rather robust gentleman. That's a picture you might see there. He kind of looks a little bit like Hurley from Lost. He's got kind of long, kind of wavy hair there, and kind of scruffy looking beard. He's just plain old average traveler's clothes. He's got a walking stick that he's walking, a staff that he walks with, and a little backpack on his back. And, that's about it. Some sandals. And he's kind of quiet and isn't doing a whole lot, trying to avoid notice from all of us.
All right.
To avoid notice, a big man.
Big man. And then, what does Rizna look like?
Alright, and Rizna is just under 5 feet, fairly dense, of course, wearing some very rough scarred split mail, a battle axe at her side, a shield thrown casually on her offhand, and a couple of hand axes near her side.
You keep saying her, but doesn't she just look like a male anyways? Because she's a dwarf.
Only to those of you that don't have any brains.
All right, why don't you both roll a d20?
I don't know if you caught all that. I keep losing signal, sorry.
Oh, you caught some of it, and I think that you got insulted and you didn't respond.
That's good. Bill, you said D20?
Yes, d20.
That's a 20.
Okay. All right. You understand that there are more than one tribe of orcs within the caves of Chaos. How did you learn this knowledge?
Go ahead, Oliver. Tell them about your research. Writing down, sorry, of Chaos.
Yep.
I was sent here from Quindano, from the library of Quindano. I'm here to help you and to perhaps expand our knowledge of the area
awesome.
And then Rizno, Ryan, you roll a d20.
Oh, yeah, sure. Before I do, I wanted to warn you all of a tiefling impersonating a paladin who might come through this way. He's not to be trusted. We ran into him outside town here. Alright, and that's a 17 bill. I was just playing around.
Well, you would have learned that an elf disappeared across the marshes.
Okay. Got it. I believe this tiefling may have been responsible for a disappeared elf from across the marshes. We are seeking him out now. We will bring him to justice.
Oh, they'll say they'll let you both in, and they'll say that this tiefling has actually entered the keep here about 40 minutes ago, and we believe he is at the inn here. So you can probably go find him. Go find him at the tavern.
He's a crafty one. He no doubt snuck past me. We will bring him to justice. Or not.
It's called the stretching goat. Hey.
Justice? I mean you. I'm just gonna stand here behind you and write it all down, right? What am I gonna do?
All right.
We'll get you some food.
All right, and then last.
What?
Isla and Lindor.
Yes, Isla and Lindor. They are entering into the keep. What does Lindor look like?
So Lindor is 3'2" with a cloak over him, and you can see a little bit of studded leather on him. And he has a short sword and short bow visible right now. Well, that's all the weapons he has. And really, that's all there is to it. He's just walking along.
Okay. And then Isla, what do you look like?
Isla is an attractive young elf, about 5'5" and 120 pounds, so she's kind of fairly small and fairly thin, but she has beautiful long auburn hair, and she has silvery eyes that kind of radiate a little golden light. And she has a pendant, a very large pendant around her neck with a rising sun on it. And she would be in studded leather armor with a longbow at her side, and she would have kind of probably some flashy gauntlets, so bronze showing more stars shimmering a little bit. And yeah, she kind of just walks fairly gracefully and smiles most of the time, kind of a warm, welcoming smile. Human? No, she's an elf. She's a high elf. Okay.
All right. So why don't you both roll d20s for me?
Yeah.
Why don't we start with
What's your
Lindor?
character's name?
Cornelius Grimm, but this is gonna be Grimm, you know.
A 19.
20 over?
Yes, if you can roll d20. All right. So you have come to this knowledge, and how have you come to this knowledge? Nobody has ever returned from an expedition to the caves. How did you come about learning this?
Well, while we were traveling, I met this innkeeper who told me about the legends of Koran and the keep. So that's how I came.
All right.
And
And then Isla, roll the d20.
I got an 18.
18. All right. Re-roll again.
12.
All right. Yeah. So you have learned this. The big dogmen live very high in the caves of chaos. How have you come to that knowledge?
That the big dogmen that live very high in the cave of chaos. house?
Yes.
Wow. I've been smoking too much weed. She's fairly friendly, so probably just was asking around, and she's curious of the land because she wants to purify it and bring goodness and happiness to the land. So perhaps asking around and asking people on the road. And she heard of the struggles Corinne has, so I imagine she would acquire knowledge simply by asking about people, asking people about the cave and asking about rumors and what's in the cave.
Okay, perfect. All right. So just to give you kind of a description here of this keep here. One, it looks very well fortified, as in the sense there are a lot of these Knights of Gaul that patrol within the keep here and along the walls, the battlements. You see a couple of you that may be very perceptive. Notice that they even have ballistas up in a couple of these towers. The two towers here at the main gate that you guys enter, about 30 feet high, and flank a 20-foot high gatehouse. And there's plenty of slits for bows and crossbows to fire down on anybody coming here. The drawbridge here that comes down and has a portcullis as well. And on top of each of these towers, there's at least four guards that you guys see visible up on top of each tower. The entry yard that you kind of enter into, you see some stables off to one side. You see it looks like a common warehouse. Probably another tower. You see some apartments. You'll see a smithy and an armorer. There's a general trade store. It seems to be a trading store. There's a bank. And then there is also an inn here, as well as a tavern, another watchtower. What you also notice, and there's shops. There's a main kind of in the scent of this this one side of the keep where you guys kind of are all in the sense almost forced into. There are villagers that are trading goods. And you probably would have saw a couple of farms right below as you kind of came up this keep. And so you'll see some of that where there's goods. There's this fountain, this large fountain, with water going through it. And there's a chapel. The Church of Gaul is there, as of course is what you would think. There's also a guild house. It seems for like merchants, crafts, artisans. That's here as well. And then you will also spot that there's another section of this keep. So you're in like a lower section of the keep. However, off to your, in the sense of your right, much taller walls, probably 50, 60 feet tall walls, seem to be guarded by the Knights of Gaul here, and the gates are closed to that, and it's well armed. Couple ballistas are on top of this main tower that leads into this other half, as well as the other couple of towers off to the sides have ballistas as well. And from what you see, even if you kind of paying attention to watch, the only people that seem to come in and out of that area are these Knights of Gaul. So let's go back to the Orzachuk. I'll get used to you guys' names here. What do? Do you head to?
Well, as I'm walking through the city.
The keep. Yes, it's definitely not a city, not a town.
So whoever's trading food.
Yes, there's some merchants.
Go up, buy like an apple or something.
Okay.
And once I purchase it, I'll lick him on the face with my long wizardy tongue. Thank you for your service.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. But in the port city, this is what I do.
This is what you do. Just give me a silver piece, sir.
Here you go.
That's not how we greet people here. Please don't lick me on the face ever again if we do business.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll continue on towards the inn.
Alright, so you head to the inn. Alright. Started Cornelius. What are you doing?
So as I'm walking around walking down the corridor way, or towards there's a town square.
Yes.
Yeah,
So there's a fountain. It's in a sense, the fountain square, and it seems like there's small little shops, mainly people like selling breads and fruits, as I just said. Also, right there's a tavern, there's an inn that are connected, as well as some other smaller businesses. But yeah, there's definitely a central kind of. Even though this isn't a town or a village, it almost feels like one in the center of this keep.
Oh. And there's only the one church that I see, the Church of Galt.
Galt, yes.
Do I see these travelers here with the really cool looking, well, not cool.
Yeah, you actually, that looks, you see a tabaxi. Have you ever seen a tabaxi before?
What is this heresy? No, but I noticed that
And a high
Hair you see? What? Yes, there's hair everywhere.
Oh,
You get that all the time.
But Maddie, you are a high elf, and you have a rapier. Both of you have rapiers, and my rapier is very sacred to me. It's given to me by the church. Some fine weapons you have there.
She'll come over. She kind of gets into your personal space a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
It's hard to have a grim face when you're being sniffed by a cat.
Just sniff your sword. Sniff your...
Gosh, you always thought that would be me.
I was just waiting for you to go, I'm spraying my stuff. I'm spraying my equipment.
So, what's with the hat?
It's the uniform of the Inquisitors of Court Hall. I'm here to cleanse this heretic, a heretic mad hermit. What brings you guys? Or what brings you a
With
cat
water?
person here?
And so? Or do you use your tongue when you cleanse this hair?
No. I use fire and anger.
You have a very different meaning of cleanse than I do.
Fire.
What?
Alex and us
Do you
belong just
cleanse your hands with fire? And as a halfling comes along, just trotting down the road.
No, I don't use fire to cleanse my hands. I use holy water.
You guys see a small person
I
coming down the
understand
road.
Cordal, in general, it's like, about battles and things like that. What does this hermit have to do with the battles? I'm confused.
Who let the cat in here?
I follow the order of I follow the orders of my church. I just wanted to see your swords. I didn't. Oh man.
Wait,
Well,
can
does this
anybody answer
hermit,
my question? Who let the cat in here?
Hurt people, or what's the?
Who let the cat in here?
If the church says it dislikes him, then I dislike him. Or her. It didn't really say the gender. Mad hermit.
Mad hermit. So it's mad hermit, not just a hermit.
It could be an angry hermit, an insane hermit. It's unknown.
Is he dress up day or something here?
Yeah. It could be a furry hermit. Like you. Are you the mad hermit?
You're adorable.
I agree.
I didn't think there'd be anything more adorable than me in here. But
Hey, why not?
should we take him home?
Yeah. Put him in a lift hang
Don't
in
mess
a
with me.
glass cage.
You wouldn't
Keep
fit.
him out.
Wouldn't fit in a jar.
No.
By the way,
He a little
Cornelius
big jar.
grunts in disgust at his own, thinking that
If you
you're
mess
adorable, but I can't be around you right now. And he walks off towards the bazaar.
I follow him. I'm like, I just look at you two like.
Why you going?
I wouldn't go around with him. He smells bad.
I should go towards the end. Is that where you're headed?
Because you marked me.
He smells really miserable.
He's just kind of walking around the square.
I'm heading towards the
He
end.
does not
Square.
smile.
I head towards the end. And I put up my hood again and I'm just
So
walking.
Isla, you
Nice.
see
and I disappear. into the crowd.
Lindor interacting with this tabaxi.
How does he do
Have you ever seen a tabaxi before, Isla?
No,
20
no
on
way.
stealth.
He said he
20
was
on
gonna
stealth.
And a high elf that is with the tabaxi. Both of them are talking, and it seems like Lindor had some sort of conversation, and then kind of then trotted off following this
Maybe he's a child.
grim-looking fellow that's wearing his hat, and kind of followed him around the Fountain Square as they're looking at the different shops.
Yeah, and then halfway disappears.
It is a high elf, male or female.
Female.
Alright, so she will approach the high elf. Greetings, sister.
Yep.
Oh, and Lindor
Yep.
disappeared by the way.
That's your greeting.
Isla, Lindor disappeared on you
Greetings,
again.
sister.
For me.
Yeah.
It's another.
That's
It's
nice.
a beautiful high elf.
Okay,
High elf
bye.
woman.
It's nice to be a familiar
Good to
face.
see another person.
The cat.
And you have your holy symbol out, correct?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. She has a big pendant of a rising sun.
Aww. See, she's even from your house. Oh dear God, from your house.
You guys could be cousins.
Oh, but Lindor's
I just
disappeared on you
recently
again,
arrived
Isla.
here. Use some assistance getting to know the area. You guys are familiar.
I think she got lost in translation. We didn't hear you very well.
Oh, she said they're looking. She's looking for maybe assistance if you know the area.
Oh, well, we're from around this island, if that's what you mean. But in terms of the keep, we're new to the keep too.
Oh, that's a strange coincidence. Well, I'm looking for work. Do you think you could be pointing in the right direction?
I think that someone would be an absolute idiot not to hire 2 elves and a tabaxi
And a
for just
halfling.
about any helpful task.
Oh, I appear again. And a halfling.
He's sort of like a bonus.
He's like the half point. Comes with
Would you agree?
I will.
Company is always welcome. You need friendly faces.
But you can't crush that
I
cat.
get 2 attacks.
All right, so Oliver and Rizna, you see this, kind of a strange group of fellow companions seem to be talking here in the center of the town square here. You see a tabaxi, which once again have either Oliver or Rizna ever even seen a tabaxi before, and then two beautiful high elven women and a halfling that just seems to be almost just jumping around,
I'm not jumping around. I'm
moving
literally
around, seems to like tries to hide
There's girls that do
behind
that.
I do
somebody,
hide. I got a
and
20
then
on
pops back on out and talks for a second, and then tries to hide
No, I
again.
didn't try hide again. I'm still
Yeah.
out.
Krishna will approach the 2 half elves. Or the elves, sorry, high elves, sorry.
Ollie actually tries to run ahead of Krishna, going, "Ooh, look, Krishna! It's someone Move! And he pulls out from his patch. He can't get it. He's just flustered, and he's got a little medallion that has the same rising sun on it as Isla. And he goes, "Sister, sister, sister!" He goes running at Isla. Brother, come here.
Watch out for his hug. It's a big one.
Oh, and he grabs her in a big old bear hug.
Hide
It's
your
like
symbol.
Bella
Hide
Smuts
your
as he
symbol.
starts moving her. Enjoy the community. He holds the hug just a little too long and then lets go.
Oh, sweet.
My ladies, I have heard of an elf stolen by a demon folk. Journey with me to this tavern where we will confront him.
Demon folk? You mean Dragon King? Which one is it?
Not Dragon King, no.
Oh, he's a demon folk. Oh, okay. I was just trying to remember. Well, I know there's no place for demons in this land, not while I'm here, so I suppose being so.
All
She'll
right.
start walking towards whatever tavern she was told.
Okay, so yeah, it's called the Stretching Goat.
Okay, okay, cool.
Listen,
That
do
sounds.
you have barbecued rabbit? Oh, I'd love some barbecued rabbit. It's such a great.
Wait, how tall is Oliver? Or?
Oliver. How tall are you? How tall are you, Oliver?
About 6. We're
No,
about
the other one.
5'8".
The other one. The
Rizna?
dwarf. The dwarf. Yeah.
How tall is Rizna?
I am 4'9".
Okay.
Oh dang, you're like over a foot taller than me.
Whoa.
Well, I suppose we should exchange names. What's your name?
Hello,
I'm sorry,
child.
I'm Oliver. I'll meet my friends. And this is my friend Rista.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Isla.
And I'm Lindor.
A pleasure. And he reaches out and grabs your hand and gives it a kiss. Again. A little too long, and then he lets go.
Lindor, bring us to your parents, please.
You're watching the crazy.
You're lucky I'm a foot shorter than you are. I would have smacked you.
Your parents have not taught you well, I see.
I am 28. Like what?
Oh, I am so sorry. I did not know those illnesses occurred here.
What's that, Gary?
You're lucky this is a keep. Oh my god.
We will protect you. Come with us to the stretching
Now
goat
you're threatening warriors.
But still,
You
who
realize
let the
you're wrong.
cat in here? That's all I'm asking.
Whoa! What is that?
I could say the same.
That is the back seat. If memory serves, I read about them
Look at the-
somewhere.
Look at the brain on Ollie.
They're kitties.
Catches on.
Rather large kitty cats.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read a whole lot about them. I just know they're large kitty cats. What would they like to be petted?
Let's pet the cat.
We all gang up and pet the cat.
Cats eat scraps and kill rodents. Is that what you do?
No.
Eat scraps, kill rodents?
They're actually highly intelligent.
Oh, they are.
Rodents?
Very good.
No.
But watch out. They like to steal things.
Like that.
This one is really kind of like, he looks smart at first, and then he just keeps his mouth open and keeps talking.
Cat woman, we are hunting a tiefling.
What the hell is that?
I told you this isn't a we, this is you. I'm just here to record it in history.
Ooh, a typhoid's here? Ooh, I like to get on that.
What's a tiefling?
Demon spawn.
Demon spawn. Oh, joy.
Yes, they are the spawn of
I
demons.
stole from one once.
That means with a human, you end up with a spawn that's half a demon and half a human, and that would be a tiefling.
Oh wait, I'm not supposed to speak about that here. Shoot.
Once we find him, we shall go find the elf that was stolen from the swamps beyond.
And I want to escape from the caverns alive.
And let's not forget the Mad Hermit. He's mad. He must be gotten.
Tell us more. Tell us about this mad hermit.
Oh my gosh, I see him right there.
He's mad, and he's a hermit. His gender is unknown, or her gender is unknown. But her madness must be cleansed, or its madness must be cleansed.
Perhaps we could sit down and discuss this, but we all have a nice, big, huge bowl of hot mutton stew? I'm wasting away here!
That is clearly untrue.
I'm fine with some rabbits. I'm fine with some rabbits too. If that's
Anything beyond gruel is decadent.
All
My
right.
stomach feels like it's trickling up as we speak. I need to fill it with something.
you want some rabbits?
All right. So you guys all head into the tavern.
Hey guys, let's go.
I ran after that.
Yes,
Entourage
yes,
of
we do.
crazy
Yes,
ghosts.
we hit the tavern.
All right. So you open the tavern door,
And there's
and
the
Rizda at the bar. You see. What do you see? What does the group see?
You see a dark blue scaled tiefling with ram horns, purple hair, and that's all you see right now, dressed in scale mail with a 6 foot long tail sticking out the back of it.
So what are you drinking right now at the bar?
Just sipping on some wine.
We all yell.
I draw my
"Damn!"
sword.
We all yell. "Damn!"
Demon!
It's a demon!
Eating some
We must
stew.
discuss with you matters.
Bill,
Well, yes.
does it smell like there's food cooking in here?
Oh yes, definitely. You definitely get plenty of
Let's
just great smells.
let's deal with this after
It
we.
makes that deep breath and
But there's a demon in here.
So there's orders you want to discuss. Why don't you come?
Let's eat first. We can discuss all we want later, but let's eat something first. I'm famished.
Why don't you
there
come
happens-
join me for
There
fun?
happens to be two of these. The two order of the Gald of the Knights of Gald are in here, and they stand up. There's not going to be any trouble in here, is there?
No, there won't be.
Not as long as there's food.
There's food. I would not. I don't want to be disrupted from my lunch here. I have my lunch.
Me neither. I'm very hungry.
The way I'm famished.
All right.
Demon!
There's a demon here? That's ridiculous.
It's a tiefling.
Seek to talk to you about the missing elf from the swamp.
I have no idea about no missing elf in the swamp. I am from the port city.
As
I
he's
am
talking,
not from
I go
here.
take the rabbits.
But if you come join me, maybe we can discuss this thing that you think I've done furthermore.
Be careful about discussing with demons. They always lie, and there's always something behind their words.
I'm
that we
still
never
searching
understand.
for this demon you are talking about.
You are a horned creature, no?
Yes, I am.
Demon spawn, right?
All is he a demon or not?
Well, at least partially. Half of his parentage was.
He does look horny, but is that a crime?
Yes, my race has been spawned from demons, but that does not mean we agree with everything demonic beings do.
Just exactly what a demon would say to put you off the track.
I report the demon's presence to the local constables.
That are standing right there?
Yes.
City guard!
They say he has not done anything evil here. He apparently says you're in search of what, an
A
ogre?
grave ogre, yes, and I'm going to slay him.
Caves of Chaos, so I'm assuming
Wow.
he's
Things of
okay.
chaos?
Yes.
That's
Do
what
you know there's more than one tribe of orcs that came to the chaos?
No,
I found that out in the port city on the way here.
no, I didn't know that.
Not just one, but more than one. I'm not sure how many, but I know there's more than one.
and nobody's ever escaped the cave. And nobody's ever escaped the caves of chaos alive. I mean, nobody's ever escaped the caves of
Or
chaos.
maybe a halfling's ever escaped.
No. Nobody's
I don't
ever
even think he's made it out of the bar sometimes.
Maybe this is where the mad individual I'm searching for is. That must be cleansed.
So there's this human, rather large human, Well, can I get you all a table and sit down and have some drinks and food? Interested in lunch here?
Oh, yes. I run to the table, grab 2 chairs, and sit on both.
Alright.
And Arizna will walk up to Hosakar. Of course, I don't know his name yet. Look into his eyes deeply.
You see,
Sure you had nothing to
he
do with
stares
it?
back at you, and you see the 9 hells just seeming into his eyes.
Oh, yeah. I use my divine sense.
That's a good face you got going, Josh. I'm scared.
That's exactly what his face would look like with his look. Stare at you, and that's his, whatever it is, 60-foot rat. He can see some celestial fiends and undead.
Well, he is a
Yeah,
decided
so,
fiend.
yeah, you know that he's a tiefling.
A fiend.
But not a fiend. Not a fiend.
Oh.
Not
That's
register as a fiend.
Hey, keep that
Do you
serious face when
Do
you
you
see
report
this.
this back, Grumpy Face?
Oh, absolutely.
He's a tiefling.
He is exactly what he says he is. I can confirm his previous statement.
And so that the barkeep goes right to who he thinks he's going to be his best customer for the day, and says, "Well, we have many items on our menu here for lunch. I could, if you'd like, we could start you off. Well, you probably want vegetable soup, but how about venison stew? Would you like some venison stew, sir?"
Of course I would, but you invited us to this table, sir, right? To enjoy this food with you?
Well, I invited you into my establishment to, I assume, eat lunch here.
Crystal,
Yes.
remember, I don't have anything after that shit.
I understand. I will cover your food.
Bring me one of everything.
For 1 hour. That is all. 1 hour.
All right. What and would you like what would you like to drink? I recommend the honey mead myself. Would you like some
Oh,
honey?
that sounds absolutely delicious. Delightful. Please give me some.
All right. So he'll rush and start you with the honey mead, the flagon of honey mead. He'll bring out some vegetable soup, a venison stew, some roast fowl, a roast joint, a hot meat pie, some goat cheese, some fruit,
And it's all lined up on plates.
pudding, some bowl of pudding.
And you see him, he takes a bit of this, and then he looks over here and he eats a little of this. He drinks a little bit of mead.
I grab the vegetable soup
Goes after
and
something
eat that.
else. And slowly he's devouring everything off of every single plate. It'll probably take him about 10 minutes to clear them all.
Your vegetable
All
soup
right,
is
so-
done.
Just stay clear for a few minutes, everyone.
I took his vegetable soup over
Give him
there.
a 5-foot range, or you might get snapped.
Hold on. He said he took his vegetable soup. Now,
He
Okay,
tried.
sleight of hand.
All right, go ahead and make a sleight of hand. He's trying to slip in and grab your soup. Go ahead and give me a perception check, Oliver.
Okay, perception.
The die?
I think that's 19 on the die. Hold on,
Dang it.
let me look.
You definitely see him if it's anything above a 10.
That's a 19 on the die plus 1 is 20.
Yeah, so you see Lindor reaching over to try to grab your soup. He's not doing a good job of it at all. But his hand's kind of coming up
trying to reach
over
up.
the table. You see his hand.
The smile that's on Oliver's face suddenly turns into this mean scowl and a big, meaty claw with a fork in it goes slunk on the table. He tries to stab him in the hand with the paper.
All right, go ahead and give me a roll.
That's a 15 on the die.
That's good enough. Yep, that's good. So you get him with a fork right in his hand.
I grab with the other hand.
No, your hand.
Here, touch mine.
All right, so you yell out a scream and take a point of damage.
I did warn you not to get near him.
Then with the other hand, while he's still holding the fork into the hand of the halfling, he grabs the bowl and he chucks the soup down like some of it's dribbling down the front of his beard and his chin a little bit as he's trying to get rid of it before the halfling can get it.
All right. Okay.
The halfling is under my protection.
He's a thief.
And you guys thought I would stir up the trouble.
Yeah.
He's a thief. He tried to steal my soup.
The city guard, the two city guard that are here having their lunch. They come over, grab the shoulders of the halfling. Are you a thief?
No.
Make it.
Lawyer, you just tried to take my soup.
You didn't use the adjective. Are you a really poor thief?
A bad thief? Why are you trying to steal the man's soup?
I'll waste away to nothingness if I don't eat.
I was gonna pull a prank on him.
A prank.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Can you behave, or do we need to
I
lock
can
you up?
behave. I can behave.
Small child, are you hungry? We can feed you, small child. It's alright. Is this how you ended up this way? Human, please bring in some food.
All right.
Let's see if we can get him bigger.
Okay. You would like some vegetable soups,
Yes.
young fellow? All right.
City guard, thank you.
All right. So they let him go. Long as it's okay. But hey, if we spot you, we're gonna keep an eye on you. If we spot you, we'll lock you up in the tower. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Mind your business. We don't have any of that here. None of that thievery stuff.
Oh, I thought you said you don't have fish.
I don't know.
City guard, since you were here, have you
Doesn't have
heard
to-
of
I
the
don't
missing
think so.
elf or the caves of chaos? Can you tell us anything else about those?
What do you want to know? There's the caves of chaos. What do you want to know?
How far away are they? Why are they called that?
Because probably multiple reasons. One, it's chaos in the sense you can get lost, apparently lost, never come out of there. There's multiple humanoid fractions that live there, which is chaotic in its own right. Goblins and kobolds and orcs, as your fellow here that's eating here mentioned there. The variety of humanoids live out of there. The banditry goes along the road. It's just trouble.
Do creatures live in there then?
Humanoids.
Just
I just told you that, Miss.
Bunch of humanoids. Bandits. Really.
Bandit orcs, bandit goblins,
All.
bandit ogres, bandit.
I don't know about an ogre, but we know for sure there's goblins live in there, there's kobolds live in there, there's orcs live in there.
What about mad hermits? Do they live there as well?
No, the hermit that you mentioned, I believe lives on the other side of the marsh.
Oh.
Wanders around there, I believe.
Is it just a homeless person?
Does it have horns? Is it evil? Is it a cat person?
It's not stereotyped.
Oh, you define evil.
Oh, there's some really evil ones looking.
Unless it's demons.
Anyone who disagrees with me.
Actually, the Mad Hermit lives actually north of here, up in the Whispering Woods. Wanders around. Craze. Has lived up there for years.
Is he dangerous or just lonely?
Maybe he's hungry.
Certainly would be.
I mean, living in the woods by himself. I mean, I think it's crazy.
Is he a threat?
No, he's not a threat to us.
Oh.
So let's talk about
Oh, we lost it. We'll keep going.
Where does the giant?
Let's
Or the
talk
ogre.
about this elephant that's missing.
Yeah, let's talk about the missing elf. I think I just cut off. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was funny. Let's talk about and then you cut off.
My favorite subject.
You were edited.
Yeah.
Censored.
Yeah, you were censored. Can't talk about the elf.
Let's talk about the goddamn missing elf.
They're like, I don't know anything about a missing elf, and we don't know anything about ogres either.
What about the marshes? Where are they?
The marshes are to the south east of here, across the road. If you go back down the mountain here, across the road is where the marshes are. It's dangerous over there. You have lizard folk living over there, and a lot of bandits live over there as well. It's a hideout for a lot of bandits. Spiders.
Lizard folk.
Yeah, lizard folk.
Oh, I thought you said wizard. Oh, lizard.
No, lizard folk live over there. A lot of them.
The opposite of wizard folk.
Very dangerous over there. We gotta stay away from over there, other than if we have to chase some bandits once in a while, cross the river, deal with them.
We should purge them.
Aaron,
We
Ilya, will
agree.
you help me find the missing elf?
Yes, of course. No elf should be missing. I'm here to help everyone.
She was
Aaron
stolen.
sometimes misses.
Yeah.
Oh, Emily's
We found her! The missing elf!
And we shall make it out of those caves alive.
Is Eve alive? Or Eve alive?
I only miss
Oh,
a few
Evil Eye,
times. I only missed a few times.
Oh, I know. You're really damn good. Better than I am.
A good deity named Evil Eye.
Evil Eye.
The two city guard, after you guys start talking about this stuff, the city guard just go back to eating their meal.
What are you eating there?
There's not a secret. There's not a secret menu for someone else. You got it all already.
We're eating venison stew.
Oh, that was really delicious, wasn't it? Wasn't that venison just so tender? I would just about melts and falls apart in your mouth. And the spices were just perfect.
Yes,
I have
it's
to warn
really
you
good.
all. You have about 30 minutes before we need to give him a good 30-foot radius.
Oh! Cloud kill!
So let's talk quickly and decide what we're gonna do.
It's like the Deadeye Tip Top or Clock Cloud.
The innkeep or the barkeep here, he says that's gonna be 8 gold, sir. Or ma'am, I think.
I think we found the true thieves.
Thank you, my dear.
Does that include the child's food?
Yes.
All right, here you go.
Thank
I'm
you.
a halfling, not a child. What do you not understand about that?
Yes.
There's
You
a
mean
code.
that's not just a saying for children?
Yeah, I mean, and you really are impressed, Oliver, with the food. It is very
You're an adult.
fine tasting. You really
Yeah.
the stew, the fowl,
That makes
and
you more adorable.
the roast, the meat pie, everything.
Like, you're never gonna
Just
grow
like,
tall.
What's the name of this place?
it's called the Stretching Goat.
That is.
A stretching code.
Nickname is Goatsy.
I'm going to, I tell you what, I'm going to write a letter and send it to the library, put it in its annals. The Stretching Goat has some of the finest foods in all of this land.
Well, thank you. If you're putting this in a book, well, my name is Bumbo Wickman.
Bumbo.
Bumbo Wickman?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Bumbo,
That's with a capital B, right, Bumbo?
do you
Yes,
do
B.
you ever have fish?
I can get some fish.
That would be nice.
Sneaky small human, will you help us find the missing elf?
Hey, Zeke, I think he's talking to you.
Mm-hmm. Small human, you
Oh
said?
wait, what?
Do you mean the halfling?
That's the thief, that's what, call him what he is, he tried to take my soup.
He was hungry. Just like you. You should have sympathy for him.
Yes, he should have his own soup then, and you did get it for him, he didn't need to try and take mine.
He's an ill-behaved child. We must
So
keep him
little,
away.
I didn't eat all that soup.
I'm a halfling!
Will you become a fullling later?
Small child, your penance shall be you journey with us tomorrow.
What?
To make up for your sins, journey with us. I will feed you more. You'll become bigger. You'll at least come up to here. She points to her chin.
Oh dear.
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Well, we all have a purpose here, so maybe we can work together.
That's an excellent plan.
I never knew that.
What is
I don't think the fat man has a duty here, though. He just his duty's to eat.
It's true, he does eat a lot. And as I said, we only have moments to decide what we're going to do.
Bill,
Yes.
But he is
can I try to use my entry skills to see if I know anything about this area where the ogre might be?
To do what? What skill?
I want to use my history, since I'm very good at history, to see if there's any knowledge that I've gleaned in my little travels here about this ogre that I might be able to help guide the demon on its way.
Go ahead and give me a history check.
Do you know how many generations back that demon did?
That's 23.
All right. So I mean, you won't necessarily know because he doesn't know in the sense of an ogre's name, but you'll know that ogres in general could possibly help any of these humanoids out. He could possibly be a leader of the goblins or kobolds, or maybe even the orcs, or he could be, working with all of them, or there might be a variety of, maybe there's more than one ogre. But, they could be used as shock troops for maybe an army, but more than likely this ogre that the tiefling's talking about is maybe with these humanoids in the Caves of Chaos.
Demon, I think that you should come with us. Your ogre should be up in the Caves of Chaos. I think he might even be one of the leaders of these foul creatures that are up there.
If you
When the great warrior Rista goes and kills all of these evil creatures, you should be by her side so that you can be known as the compatriot that traveled with the wonderful and great Rista, the hero of all dwarven women.
How can you say he's useless? Do you hear this?
My blade of Morgulog has sent many to their grave. I would love to travel with you and send this ogre to his grave.
Whoa!
That almost ruins my lunch.
Isn't that the god chef?
Yes.
I'm fine.
I look up for my hardtack and glass of water.
Awkward.
I'm assuming that's your favorite food.
Anything more is decadent.
Of course it is. Of course it is, dear boy.
Ollie, we're gonna journey again. We should stock up.
Oh,
Reside in the house.
is there a wagon I can ride in?
More belongs in far.
It's unlikely. We have talked about this. More walking is good for you.
I suppose if I must.
You must walk, yes, and 10 feet behind us, as we discussed.
Sir Whitman,
Yes.
we're going to need some provisions for a long journey.
Where's the
In the way of hams and breads and maybe some sweet cakes as well.
Are you going to the Caves of Chaos?
Well, yes, it should be a long and arduous journey. We're going to need much, much food.
No, it's only like about a mile up the road.
So
What, the
so
caves?
double whatever you just said.
Maybe at least one ham, one loaf of bread, and you have any of those little sweet cakes? Maybe just a couple more. Take with me, and maybe the flagon of that wonderful honey meat.
I absolutely can. So.
Putting on the
I have to go back to the tavern, guys. I ran out of food, so I can't eat the rations.
All right. So another 5 gold, and he'll come back with a bag filled with food and a cask filled of honey mead for him.
Here, have some heart attack. This'll make a man out of you. It makes me happy.
I will speak highly of you, and I promise Ollie will record your name and the name of your establishment.
Right here in my book, Uncle Whitman, proprietor of the Screeching Goat, best food in the entire territory.
But, Oliver, what is the
Why would you
councilman doing?
eat that? What would make you think that was even remotely better than tree bark? That's disgusting.
I need only what it takes to sustain my body in the name of Cornall.
There's a reason you smell bad. That's part of it right there.
Smell just fine.
Oh. No.
Smell just
This group is perfect.
No.
This group is
Oh.
All right, everyone, the time is up. It's time to journey. Oliver at the rear.
First we need to give Kitty a bath.
More
No,
to the
we
point,
need to give him a bath. No, we need to give
Just so
him
No.
So,
bath down.
So one of the city guard that they finished up their lunch and he comes. So you guys are going to the Caves of Chaos?
Well, we could.
No, I think we're going to find this thing out.
that first, and then we're going to the Caves of Chaos.
Well, if you for every humanoid ear you bring back, we will give you 1 gold piece.
Let's start with the cat.
So I'm saying one
I
one
can't.
humanoid is 2 gold if we
Can't
get
tell.
both ears. All right.
That's correct.
Alright.
That's a lot of food.
We came into the keep for a sense of civility and civilization.
Who do we report to, sir, with all the ears?
This is
When you return, you just ask for the captain of the guard. Captain of the guard.
Does he have a name?
Well, yes. But if it's not him, they'll just get the sergeant of the guard or whoever is in charge. But the captain of the guard is named.
We must get every ear.
Oliver, step outside, please.
How about we do this? I say this to the group. How about if you kill the creature, you get both ears of it. So basically,
So you will be doing none of the killing, and I will be getting all the loot. That is not a fair situation.
We get the
you
wealth.
haven't seen me fight yet. So how do you know?
You're a child. I feel you cannot fight at all. You can wield a sword.
Draw 2 short swords in an instant.
Here's a real sword I had.
Put the weapons away at the
Okay.
city guard
I put 'em away.
right away. As soon as you guys start drawing.
What?
Did the child take out his little weapons again?
He drew his knives out. Yes.
Alright,
Hey.
go over to Lindor. Put out my hands.
They look like
I don't give you my weapon.
they look like 2 long swords compared to his body, but we all know
Hand me
they're
your
short.
weapons. I'll give them to you when we get out of the city.
Actually, the city guard say yes. You can. We're gonna bring these to the entrance. You can give us your weapons, and then you can you receive them when you leave. Leave the keep.
Okay.
Please hand them over.
I give them to him.
The captain of the guard is named Norndale.
I'm gonna give him a lot of trouble with his guards. Man, he's gonna be bad.
What a shock that you're already in trouble, Alex. What a shock.
Snardale?
Norndale. It's the captain of the guard.
You're not at the brig already. Alright,
That's
I'm
where
gonna put my
your
hands-
weapons will. I will have your weapons there. Do not draw your weapons here in the keep. You are safe at the keep. If you do it again, we will lock you up.
You're not gonna take my fork, are you?
No, he was trying to steal from you.
Thank you.
So it's okay to defend yourself.
Of course, it's okay to defend yourself, but there should be no reason to have to defend yourself here in the keep.
Yes, I agree. But there are crazy people in the keep, I feel like.
Well, we will. If you cause any more problems, thief, we will lock you up. We don't have any. There's no issues like that here.
That wouldn't be too hard. I feel like they have a small cage for him anyways.
All right.
Smaller brain, less self-control. I'll take responsibility for him.
Thank you. All right. So they
Put my hand on your shoulder. Come on.
they leave and have your
I
blades.
shrug the shoulder off. I mean the hand off.
Will you stop? That's annoying. All right. Take it away from me. All right. It's like a small child. All right.
He's playing Alex right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing Alex himself. All right. So what do you
Mom
do?
reaches into one of the bags, pulls out one of the sleep games, and takes an ammo and thinks nobody's looking. Of course, everybody can see him do it. He puts it back in the bag.
What time of day is it,
It's just after lunch now, so it's about 2 in the afternoon.
Alright. So if we heard anything about the missing elf, do I have any idea where this person is?
No, when they even asked the city guard, they kind of almost like, no, we haven't heard anything, and then just kind of went back to eating and such. So no.
Let's have the
Do all the
potatoes.
elves live together in one spot? You know, probably more trees and worse food.
Well, in this area, I mean, to be honest, most of the people that you see in here are in the keep are human.
Right, so is there an elven quarter?
Yeah, if you ask the barkeep, he's like, no, we don't really. There's some of their, we have some apartments, or some of us live here homes, but then there's some villagers that live right down below that are protected, you know, by the Knights of Gold here. In the sense of elven population, kind of just rough, but if they would live just kind of north, up north here, beyond on the mountain here. But I think they kind of keep. He says, I think they keep to themselves. I don't think they have, in the sense, any quarters or anything. Let's see if there's any elves that live here, but I don't think they are.
Yes.
Yes.
Highly
Yes.
unreasonable.
Yes, that's why we just bought all that food for travel, of course.
You see an outhouse somewhere close by?
Go back in the place you just bought all that food. Go back to Goatsy. You'll find somewhere to put it.
Okay. I'll go back over to try to find Bobo.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you're still in there. I would say that's who you're talking to right now.
And he walks up and he whispers as he
Yeah, he'll point you to one in the direction.
Okay. And he'll nimbly go out there, or as nimbly as a guy his size can. You'll see the outhouse start to rock maybe back and forth a little bit as he tries to sit down. Yeah.
He says, there's really no elves that live up here in the keep. I think there might be a small population of elves living in the woods, but they keep to themselves.
Well, that mission sounds like a bust. Guess elves just go missing all the time. That's why you don't.
That's why there's none here.
The whole
Exactly.
open quarter's missing.
Now that you mentioned it, there used to be a lot of elves, but yeah, they're gone.
There used to be 1,000 of them, but they all disappeared into the woods. We thought they just took journeys out there.
All right, got that. What else? What do you got, Cornelius? What do you want to do?
I want to head into the
That
caves.
sounds like there's some evil in the purge or in the caves of chaos that we can purge.
Yes. Yes, let's go to the caves.
Wait a minute. Now,
Are we ready for that?
I don't
Are
know.
you sure we can bring the child? We should definitely get him out of the city before he gets arrested.
I think the child needs to watch his tongue a little bit and maybe grow a little bit before he can go to the caves of chaos.
I'm going to the caves of
I
chaos.
don't know about you, but I'm ready.
I think the rest of us are ready, though.
I'm ready to go to the caves of chaos, and I'm not a child. I'm a halfling.
A thief.
Yeah, that's euphemism for human child, I think. But all right.
You're a burglar halfling, okay.
I'm not a burglar halfling. I'm a halfling.
So you're not a good burglar, as we saw. Other than attempting to steal food poorly, what are your skills, little human?
I can hide from the eye.
So you're a rogue.
Yeah, you could say
So
that.
you're a thief.
I'm not a thief. I'm a rogue. I'm not a thief.
Definitely not a thief. We saw that.
I disappear under my eyes. I
That
hide behind you. I literally hide behind
I pull my head over. I can't see you, so you can't see me.
It's like Liam upstairs, yeah. You can't see me.
You can't see me, guys. No, I hide behind him. I hide behind him so you guys basically can't see me. Natural 20. I basically run around you and I disappear. You're like, wait, where is he? Time to disappear. No, I literally run around.
As we're all talking to you, you somehow slip all of our gaze.
Yeah, a natural 20. A natural 20 on stealth. So I
He's hiding pretty good.
And a natural 20 on my
perception.
He's hiding. He does a good job. You see him dart off really quick and right behind Grim over there. And Grim's like, where are you going?
The cat lady's like.
But you guys see him. I mean, you do see him, but he is doing pretty well.
This is a great child to have along for the journey.
He's our burglar.
I mean, I guess he won't get hurt because he'll just hide if something bad happens.
I heard
You got
goblins.
that, Linder?
I heard goblins like amusement, so possibly if we don't fare so well with the goblins, maybe he can go and entertain them.
If we get captured?
Yes. Well, we won't get captured if we have to offer somebody else up for us not getting captured. I
Small
feel
human,
that.
can you dance or sing?
I can help us escape cages or prison cells because I can lock
Because
them.
you can go through the bar so easily.
No, I can lock them. I can literally lock pick with the lock.
A small person that would be good to have. All right, Linder, you can come with us.
You just hear the ground start quaking.
Give him some more distance, guys. Let's give him another 50 feet.
The ground starts shaking.
I also think we won't be invited back to Goatsy for a few weeks.
The door opens, he comes out, pulling up his pants a little bit. Oh,
Yelp.
Exactly. Exactly.
He reads his spell book while he poops. Guess I can relate in real life.
He writes reviews while he poops.
Yeah.
All right.
Like half the people who go to restaurants.
All right. So what do you guys do now?
Go to the caves of chaos.
I think we're heading towards the Caves of Chaos. If we can.
All right. So yeah. So you guys all head on out. The big merry group here. Head out of the towers. They'll hand you your weapons, your blades back,
And my short bow.
and your bow. Yes. And they say each time you return here, you'll have to turn in your weapons.
Are we there yet?
We just got started.
Yeah. So you head down. They'll tell you it's probably about 2 miles up the road.
Oh, 2 miles. I thought you said it was a mile. Oh.
So I'll give you about 2 hours for you, okay?
And yeah, they'll say what you'll do is you'll follow the road. You'll have to go off the road once you see almost what you see is a layer of hills and trees that you'll see off, almost like a cavern or a canyon, I should say. Sorry, a canyon. You'll see off the road a canyon beyond some woods. So that's when you're going to want to get off the road. The road leads to Fenworth, a trading town. But once you get about 2 miles, you'll see this canyon. You'll have to walk through the woods to get to the canyon, and that's the Caves of Chaos, as we call them.
Oh, we have to walk through the woods. There's no road.
No, the road continues to Fenworth, but does not go into the Caves of Chaos. So yes, you will have to go through woods.
Oliver,
They're thick woods.
Well nourished. Now steal yourself.
I shall do my best, Prisma, to pull you into the greatest darkness that there are, where you shall fight those most glorious battles.
Can we put this in the order? Because I'm in the back and we're still in the
Or in the forest, down like the heretics they are.
I'm in the
Like out of
back.
trees.
All right, you don't have to set up a marching order.
So is it Rizna?
Yeah, Rizna.
I am hiding behind.
Lady Risna.
The lady.
I was afraid we weren't all going to make it out of the tavern.
All right, so you all head down the road, back down the mountain here, and just to kind of give you guys a little bit better description, now you're all together and such. So you have this keep leads up to this mountainside, and as you go up it, the one side, which is now coming down, your right side is cliff face, purely coming down. To your left is completely this drop off. So it's a very defensible keep here. Being up there, you really can't get to it other than this road. You come down, there's a fork in the road. Going to the southwest leads back to the city of Kraton, where most of you have journeyed from. Going up the road to the northeast leads to Fenworth, and a little sign says, down below says, Kraton, Fenworth. Across the road, not too far, probably you think about maybe 150 yards, you see this running river. As you guys start heading down this road to the northwest, you see this woods. The mountains off to the road. You see just the mountains going up. Plenty of forest. Tons to your left. A lot of woods. And to your right is this river. You still see the flowing river, as well as marshlands. It kind of spills over a little bit on this side of the river, on the north side of the river, just a little bit. But on the south side of the river is where you see a lot of marsh. On the opposite side of the river, most spots where you can see is maybe 100, 200 yards across to get across the river. At least is what you're seeing as you continue down the road.
Is the river passable then, or it's hard to tell?
Football field. across it.
It's hard to tell. I mean, it looks at least a football field across. So, and it seems to be flowing well. So, and probably on foot. Foot. No, you probably have to swim across
There's
it.
your fish, cat.
You do. As you guys do continue down the road, you do see this off to on the south part of the road, but it's probably just about 100 feet from you is where you see kind of it going up. Is this black like rock just kind of coming up, jettisoning, probably about 100 feet up. It looks like, in a sense, almost like you could go up on top and view. It's only about 100 feet, 200 feet up, but it's a flat rock on the top, and there's no one up there, but you can see it clear as day in the sense that you could actually stay up there and have good line of sight of the road and the river. But no one's up there at the time when you guys.
And it's fairly easy to climb up it. It's an approachable climber.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely climbable, even in a sense rideable. You could ride horses up there. Yeah. So yeah, possibly either could defend from it, or scout from it, or camp up there, whatever. And you'd have a good view from anything that's coming towards you.
And that's right here at the fork, is that right?
No, this is probably about a mile along the road as you guys have continued on the road here. It's probably about a mile away from the fort. And it's really, in a sense, you guys have been kind of going slightly northwest on this road. This happens right when the road now kind of goes up north. So the road now, you've been kind of going sideways northwest. Now where this is at, the road really goes up north. So it's really, in a sense, you have a vantage point of seeing anybody coming down the road to the north, or anybody coming from the road if they were heading towards you to the east, you'd be heading west, but they'd be heading east towards you. So it is a very good vantage point of this road. You'd be able to see.
If I were to name
down
this,
both
I would
sides.
call it Black Rock Overlook. But I don't know.
Close. It's called Raven Rock.
Oh.
So
I'm confused, but okay. Too much information. I was
Do
like,
you need us to
brain
hold you up higher?
As we're going by the marsh, I'm gonna keep my eyes out. I think that's where the elf was.
yeah, that's the rumor. Yeah, that across the river is probably where that lost elf is. And so as you guys continue up the road, and you think you've gone about another mile up the road here. So city guards are probably not too far off, being in the sense of 2 miles. Is there anybody that has survival?
Oh yes.
Okay, perfect. All right.
yeah.
Oh, that's right, Aaron. That's right. I forgot both of you. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
They're really good. 'Cause
All right. So
all three of us are bad.
you see past the tree line, high up above the tree line of this, it looks like a canyon. And it's probably, you think probably about 300 yards through this wood to this canyon. The canyon itself, you think it goes probably 500 feet up in all. So this great canyon you see, it's probably about 500 feet maybe about 100 feet opening as you guys go. So you guys, what are you gonna do?
I think we break off from the road and head towards it.
All right, so head into the woods. All right, now I want to march.
Into the woods we go. Into the woods we go.
Frost.
I want to be hiding behind.
So which way are we going?
I want to be hiding behind you. I'm gonna be hiding behind you.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, we'll have it heading.
Could
towards
I
you.
make a
Really, you're heading to the northwest.
Could I make a stealth to
I
hide
will
behind?
say yeah.
Could I make a stealth to hide behind him? Cause I'm half his
Which
size.
one is the fat guy?
The yellow-headed.
Cause he's a
Right.
medium-sized creature. I'm a small-sized
Right.
creature, so we can hide behind him.
Robust.
Why am I over?
And 11 total.
Okay,
So I'm kind of trying to hide out now, but
not doing a great job. All right.
Put me in the lead if you can.
Put me in the rear. That's not good.
All right. All right. So perfect. Switch cameras. Thanks. All right. Let me read here as you guys approach.
I have a short bow out. A short bow. Is this short sword? I can't see something.
So you guys are passing through this forest here. It's been, and it seems to get denser, more tangled, gloomier as you go through this thick, twisted tree trunks. There's misshapen limbs, withering roots, just thorns that you might, briars that you seem to get attached to here and there. As you are getting closer, you just feel like you shouldn't be going through here. It just feels like you're being warned that you should just turn back now and go back. But you guys pass through this growth, and then all of a sudden, it ends.
Stay close, everyone.
Your band has stepped out of this thicket into a ravine-like area. A flock of ravens rise, croaking from the ground as you guys head on out. I'll fly on off. If there was any surprise that you're coming, that's over. Their beats of their wings and cries, magnified by the terrain, sound loud and horrible. The little half human has to cover his ears from the sound. Dark streak rock mingles with the earthen walls of the canyon that rise rather steeply to either side, to a height of at least 100 feet. Clumps of trees grow here and there, both on the floor of the ravine and up the sloping walls of the canyon. The opening you stand in is about 200 feet wide. The ravine runs at least 400 feet to the western end. So it's 200 feet wide, 400 feet deep is the ravine that you guys are standing at the bottom. Here and there are varying heights, all sides of the ravine. You can see the black mouths of cave-like openings in the rock walls.
It's not just one.
The sunlight is dim, the air is dank. There is an oppressive feeling here, as if something evil is watching and awaiting to pounce upon you.
All right, guys, this is what we call a trap.
This place stinks of cough.
There are bare, dead trees here and there, and upon a vulture perches and gazes hungrily at you. Amongst the litter of rubble, boulder, and deadwood scattered about the ravine floor. You can see bits of gleaming ivory and white, likely the bones and skulls of men, animals, and other things. You know you have certainly discovered the caves of chaos. So,
Go back to the city and never report.
It's time for quiet.
I'm gonna retry and make my stealth check. After
no, you can't. No, that's not how it goes, buddy. It's one roll. You don't get to get
Are we
another
in the
roll.
middle? Are we like literally in the middle, like side to side?
So you come out, yeah, in the sense of really you come out in the middle of this. Behind you is this thick wood, and then you have about 200 feet. So 100 feet to your left, 100 feet to your right, and you can move. Explain that you can move over here, which I'm sure you will. But you have it's about 200 feet wide cavern or ravine here that you're at. You're at the bottom level of this canyon. So just in the sense you're in a Grand Canyon, you're at the base.
Weird.
So
And
is there any better cover to one side or the other? Tree cover?
yeah, absolutely. To your right, in a sense, or to the north, if in that sense, there's some thick trees that are along the wall that you probably got to go about. I want to make sure I'm not making this up. So you probably got to do about a 30 feet dash from the thicket to these woods, because you do see a cave opening on the south wall that is plain as day. If you come towards that, if there's a guard or whatever, they're gonna see you coming. Because from there, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, probably about 80, 100 feet of pure open to that cave entrance there.
Gotcha.
So that's my next question. Is it easier to climb up into one of the caves from either side from where we see now?
Let's get a perception check. Anybody that wants to make a perception check here can.
15.
All right. Anybody higher than a 15?
Perception.
He's eating chicken.
I don't even care.
Level 1, man. Level 1. That's what you get.
I love
I have a +5 perception, so.
Okay.
perception.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there's the observant elves there.
Blessings on Evelyn, sir.
Okay, so between the halfling and the beautiful high elf, you notice there's a couple cave openings. The ones that at least you notice right away. So the one that's obvious, about 100 foot dash to that one. It's on the ground level. You also see another one on that side, on the south wall, that is up about 50 feet up on that 50-foot climb up the ravine. However, you have to go past the one on the ground that's open to go up to that one. 18, yeah.
54,
And how many feet forward was that one?
That one you think is probably at least 200 feet from you guys. So about 100 feet, probably about 100 feet from the opening on the ground. The cave that's on the ground is open. 50 feet up plus 100 feet is the next opening that you guys see beyond some copse of trees.
Alright, I'll turn
Hold
to
on.
the group. Are we gonna be brave?
I'm gonna give you a couple more, just so you know.
We don't need any more. We already got the only one that matters.
On the side of the tree, the treetop that you are, or not the tree, the side that you're thinking of, the north side, where there's this big copse of trees that you can run, there is another cave opening up above. It's also clear though. There's no trees. Once you're at the ground level, start going up. You think you got about a 75-foot climb to a cave opening up there. That's clear as day. That could look down for you as you guys climb.
Well, that's definitely not happening.
Well, this isn't happening because I cannot climb.
Exactly.
So, those are the ones you see right now. So yeah, but there could be more behind trees and such as
Alright,
well.
so I point to the one at ground level 100 feet away and I say, let's go.
Yeah,
I start charging that way.
me too.
All right,
Well, evil's not gonna purge itself. Let's go.
all right. So
If I have to run this whole distance, I might.
I feel that's as good as Alex creation is all that is.
Purge
yeah,
yourself.
all right. So as you guys start running, the group
I'm
starts.
not running. I'm just like
I'm not
moving.
running. I'm walking fast with my walking stick.
All right.
Anyway, go ahead. Bill.
All right.
As the dwarf starts
So
sprinting.
Rista is sprinting. Well, the rest of you probably just walking.
Well, I have my bow ready to shoot whatever comes out of that cave.
All right. Off to the side though, you hear some, and let me see here.
Melissa,
We found the enemy!
We found Zena.
See if they spot me.
No, I'm seeing that.
That's clearly Goblin, you guys. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know your own DM.
It's disadvantage. Thank goodness.
I almost speak
Oh,
Goblin.
just so you know, Seth, they're not disadvantaged, but I rolled 2 natural 20s, but because of disadvantage, those 2 natural 20s don't count. So these two arrows off to the north come right on down in front of the feet of Rizna, hitting the ground. 2 little arrows pop into the
Wait, how
ground,
far away?
and off to your northeast, and you see off from a top of trees, and as you see another opening on the opposite direction of a cave opening, you see what looks to be 8 little, probably about, how tall are they?
Little Lindors.
Little indoors, yeah. That's it. They look like dogs, kind of armed with spears, and a couple of them have little light crossbow or longbows, short bows. Sorry, a couple short bows. They look, they're kobolds. As some of you guys would probably know, Oliver has been in books and such.
I don't like kobolds.
These little dogmen are kind of coming running your guys' direction. Why don't we
They're on the ground. They're running towards us.
Yes.
They're running towards Riss.
Yep. So why don't we roll initiative?
Let's begin the purge.
Oh, I'd be almost everybody else, I think.
We're running to the south. Is that right, Bill?
Yeah, you're running to this southwest, and they're coming from the northwest.
Nothing changes.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you roll a 2?
But you probably have a dex modifier, which will beat me.
I have a beast dex, so I'm above a 20.
I
I've
have
been hearing about the beast for a while. I'm so excited to hear that.
This is like the first time I've really had like a good dex to start out with, and not like had a ton of modifiers.
If Thorn has a good dex, he's still always last.
Thorn, not Torn.
Torn's gone.
What's the truffle's name?
Huh?
What's the little truffle's name?
All right, is anybody above a 20?
22.
22.
I rolled an 18 on the die plus
Looks like
4.
truffle.
So Lindor.
Lindor.
You're just a snack that I can just put into my mouth.
Little sweet thing.
It's a 22. All right, anybody else above a 20? All right,
Like a slow boat.
7,
let's go. 16 to 20.
17.
So 17.
Man, for the first time in forever, you're above other people.
That's a lot.
Forever.
Anybody else above a
It's been a
16?
while.
No, it hasn't.
No. Okay. 11 to 15.
Isla's an 11.
You tie with me.
Isla's 11.
I like how we all proud of the bottom.
I just feel like, yeah, wow, this is crazy. 6 to 10.
But anyways.
10.
Okay, so we have 10.
7.
7.
So the cat
Here.
before the elf.
I'm a 5.
Do you want all our 12 and 8 hit
I
points that we
have
have?
Not yet. So 5 for Rizzo.
He has cat-like reflexes.
What is Oliver?
Sorry, I had to. It was just perfect.
And then what is Cornelius?
I beat him! I'm 5.
Okay, so another 5. Alright, that's
What?
Probably ahead of me.
This is so. You're so perfect.
Well, I'm gonna have you because you're
That's
running.
scary.
So yeah, I'm gonna have
Oh
you.
yeah, that's fair enough.
Alright, so here we go. So Lindor, you are up.
Lindor.
Lindor, sorry.
So
Lindor.
where are they? Like how far away are the kobolds?
So from you currently right now,
Let's go, Rugrat.
so they're over about 100 feet from you off to let's go in a sense.
But like say like around 20 feet away, over 100.
Huh?
How much feet over 100? Because I want to know. Cause
He's trying to shoot at them.
yeah,
Oh.
like
Oh, okay. So you're gonna shoot at him. You're not gonna move
He's not
towards him?
charging them.
Not
though.
charging.
I'm being a rogue.
All right.
That's
I know I'm not used to that.
do they see me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
You're out in the open, man.
No, I'm.
They're about 100 feet.
You're
I
not
hide,
hidden. You're
I
at
hide.
5.
I know.
You're
They
at
see you.
So
So
you can choose.
roll-
You can choose to use your move to, or your action to hide.
To hide again.
Yeah, I'll try and hide again.
But you might
But
want
that's your action.
That's
You wouldn't
your
be able to
action.
shoot.
Yeah.
I know.
So what are you gonna do?
So I'm going to move behind the. Actually, I'm gonna just stay where I'm at and try and like slip back. Like I'm
Tell me
gonna
what you're gonna do.
go with like try and hide behind a tree.
There is no
Bullets.
trees.
There's a bunch of
Right
bullets.
now, you're in open space. You're in open area. There's some trees off from where you're at. There's some trees off from about 30 feet. So say that clump of trees over here, close to you, this way direction. That's where they're at.
Wait, where?
Those trees here on the map, buddy.
Oh, so
That set of trees is right there. That you can go hide
for
in,
now.
or you can go hide in that set of trees over there.
For now, because I can't move that much. Okay.
Because I only have a 20.
Other than what's behind you is open plains.
I know. I'm going to move behind the cat and hide because I can hide behind people who are at least one size above me. And then
As long as she doesn't move. Go ahead and make a roll, buddy.
I fumble.
Okay,
He
so,
tries to hide and
so-
slip. He trips over a stone and just falls flat on his face.
alright, so put yourself prone. Very nice. Trips over a rock, splats right onto the ground.
Control your kid.
That's good. You should get to the ground. It's harder to hit him from with the missiles.
Alright.
Somebody said, duck.
Their bows will be.
No good at stealing and no good at shooting.
Alright.
We're good at
He eats like you.
Alright.
it's like
Well, he likes food at least.
well, that's good. The only good thing about
So,
Friendly mostly.
Goblins are fat. I mean, kobolds are fat.
Yeah, kobolds.
So we got 8 that are on the ground and 2 that fired from somewhere.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them coming.
Okay.
Oh, they're coming from that way. So I shouldn't have gone to those trees. Oh, so they're very close. Oh. They're so close. It's unbelievable. I'm gonna hide behind the archer and then like I'm gonna just shoot from behind.
Stay where you're at, man. Drop camera.
The arrows. So those are the archers. I'm gonna shoot a band. Just go like pop, 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 pop. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you use games with them, I can just pop them and be like this dude.
Alright, so
That's what they did.
so the kobolds are charging up on the group here, running up. The 2 take pop shots again at Rizna here.
Of course.
Miss. The one just flies right over your head. And the other one.
Foul creatures.
Yeah, just shoots it way up in the sky because they're running and can't control themselves.
Foul creatures have poor training. Back to the woods and train again.
Followers.
We don't glory to slaughter you.
Ozachar, you are up.
One of you protect the child, please.
I think the child has that covered. He ducked to the ground.
It is good strategy against missile weapons.
I'm done.
Smart, Zendor, smart.
I fell. Oh my gosh, you guys
Alright.
like too much of a big deal. But you guys don't worry about the kitty cat in the group.
Isla, you're up.
Oh, sorry about that. How far away is the nearest officer?
From Isla, as I'm not sure with who's
40 feet.
40 feet.
No,
No, no,
he's not.
No, I'm down.
Oh, down. What?
I fell.
Oh, that's right.
I tripped over a stone flat on my face.
He took cover. He was smart. Good strategy, Zendor.
Alright, I'm going to shoot at them with the longbow.
All right, go ahead. Give him the shot.
Total will be 17
That's gonna hit.
for 7 points of damage.
All right, you want to throw 7 points on one of the kobolds?
Now my position in regards to the group, am I in the middle of the map or front?
You're in the middle back.
Alright, that's good. Alright, I'll just stay where I am and try to get out of the way a little bit.
Do you want to shoot at one of the archers or one of the guys moving up?
I'll shoot at one of the archers. And clear, I don't know if there's a screen up or whatever, I'm just going by Peter, you know.
Yep, no, that's fine.
So I'll just shoot at the clearest person in sight. So
No, he doesn't have the screen up. He doesn't have it up.
What are you gonna offer us?
We gotta get you a headphone.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, don't you work at a drugstore that probably sells those headphones?
Not anymore.
All right,
He's done selling drugs, man. Come on. Don't push it back to that life.
Alexana, you are up.
All right, Alexiana.
Alexiana.
Head forward.
Nickname Alex 2.0.
Yay! No.
So from where I'm at, I need to go to clear to be able to see these
No,
guys.
no, they're all in the open.
No, they're all in the
Like,
open.
this is the only where their trees are.
Okay,
Yeah.
so from here to here, there's
It's all open.
It's all open.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just ignore that. It's not
All right.
tree line at all.
no problem. No problem.
So there is no
All
trees
right.
here.
Nope, no trees at all.
Okay. No problem.
I will take the lead. Everyone group behind me.
How about we stand in a line together?
Sounds good. You can take it, demon. That's fine.
We'll sing the Cordal Kumbaya. All right, so
I know you've seen some hell, demon, and I am impressed.
I've seen a lot more things worse than hell.
So are all those guys in that line, are
You went in the bathroom after Ollie, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
It's bad.
That's very bad. Don't ever do that.
What?
Go in the bathroom.
Yeah, you've seen papers and papers of stuff.
Smelled worse than burning flesh.
Are those
So she will,
guys with spears there? Are they actual spearmen or are they
Spear, short sword.
Yes, they have spear, short sword. Yes,
okay? And it's the two that are in the back that are archers, right?
correct.
All right. Yeah, she's close. Hell no. Right up on that one as she's drawing.
So kitty cat hesitates for a second.
One short sword.
Please tell me you're doing that creepy sideways walk that cats sometimes do, and they arch your back.
Yep.
Careful, I fear for your safety. I shall be there shortly.
Exactly. All right. She goes forward and it's not the greatest, but not the worst.
They got the moves, they got the plays.
What's your total?
So that is a 15.
That hits.
All right. So she does 8 points of damage.
All right, you want to throw 8 points of damage on that cold ball?
All the captures.
Really? 8 points on that cold ball? All right, Aaron, you are up.
Because you have to hit them for 9 to kill
Alrighty.
an elven. Kill the archers.
I got it. Actually, I don't
You
understand.
got it. That lay it in the mud.
I got it.
I
I
got
think I'm gonna try to kill the archers. Come back.
All right, which one are you gonna shoot? The one that's already shot, wounded, or the other one?
The other one.
Okay, go ahead.
Trying to make them both hurt.
Wait.
Then they can't.
I'm gonna
Well,
try and see if they
It
understand
won't
what
affect. Yeah, it won't affect anything. But
Focus your fire. Take out the wounded.
Okay.
do that.
I'm gonna
So roll
speak.
a 20 sider.
I'm gonna
roll
speak
a
in
8 sider.
thieves' can and see if any of them understand.
Thieves can't really isn't a language. It's more of a movement of hands, maybe a little gesture, but it's not
It's
necessarily.
taught, or
This is- I love
it's code languages that you kind of drop secret or drop
That's my
hints.
piece.
Like you got the day.
Okay, so you roll
And you're in the
11.
mud.
You're plus
Yeah,
what?
thieves can't do.
I was gonna see if any of them speak
Nah.
thieves'.
West side.
I'll be like,
Exactly.
yeah. You leave now, you die.
Sorry.
Any of y'all from the south side?
This one.
They're like north side.
No.
That's where they're coming from. North Dave.
To hit.
Black Hawk?
So you get a point.
The hit of 20.
Oh yeah, that hits.
And then
The damage.
10.
Okay, you take it down. Boom, he goes down. Very nice. All right.
Great job, Al.
You got anything else, Aaron? You just shoot and you stay where you're at.
I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
Okay, perfect. All right, Cornelius, you are up.
The 5 is up?
yeah, eventually you do come up.
Nice.
Move back.
I want to attack.
Oh, did I miss? Where did I miss? I'm sorry, these cards might be stiff. Yeah, I'll have you risen right after. Sorry, the card's stuck. They're new cards. I'm like, wait a minute.
The reason
Yes.
of this.
20, 30.
I'm coming with you, kitty.
Grimace.
You just stab its
And
throat.
I'm going to stab it
All
in the
right.
name of Cordal
In the throat.
with my
Stab it in the
rapier.
throat.
Oh! That's plus 5, that's 23
Oh
on the
yeah,
die.
stabs right into it.
Oh man, I do
You
a
said get
massive
23 on the die. You said 23
Oh,
on the
yeah.
die.
Roll, Josh.
5 points of damage.
All right, is that the wounded one there?
That's
Yep.
two.
He goes down.
In the
Nice.
throat.
All right.
Cordal be praised!
All right, Rizna, you are up.
And you be shamed.
Yeah.
Toilet poorly trained and weak creatures, flee before us. Moving forward, put me
That
next
kobold
to
cut himself
my
a bad
allies
case
if I
of
can be.
I probably have the best intimidation in the group too, because my charisma is a +3.
You cannot take a swing. That's 35 movement.
My charisma is +3, so I can basically intimidate these.
Don't worry. The good thing is they can all attack you.
Yeah, I'll draw towards me.
All right, so let's do that.
Fellow creatures, it will not be wise to attack me, but you must.
All right, Oliver, you are up.
Alright, can you move Oliver 30 feet forward so that he can see all of the enemy that's in front of Risen?
Okay.
And then he points his staff at the group, and he's specifically going to aim at the one that is
Aim at the.
third from the farthest. Wait, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there only 5 standing right now? Is that right?
Yep.
No, 6.
No, Alex.
Well, there's 5 in a group in a line, and then there's
Right.
one.
Okay, the 5 in the line. So the third one farthest away from me in the line is where I'm going to aim this thing.
Okay.
Points his staff. Oh, nom de Evelay! And then he says, Tormir! Casting spell.
Oh, okay, very nice. Okay, buddy. Night, night.
Cast a sleep spell.
Yeah, he's it's night.
I know this one. He's putting him to sleep. He does this to himself every night.
28 hit dice.
28 hit points.
Okay, so 28 hit points. All right, so that's gonna take down 2 of them. Gosh, I love this sleep spell. All right, nice. All right.
Nice job.
All right, it is now a new round.
Excellent for me.
Lind,
And then with his other hand, he holds it over his heart. He's breathing heavily, having to rush up some fast.
Hey, Billy, can you
Lindor, you are up.
Go
So
Lindor.
10 feet to stand.
And then 15 more.
All right.
And then I'm gonna shoot the other archer.
All right. Now, are you at? Do you have a
Actually, wait.
short bow?
No, I'm actually going. Yeah, I have a short
So
one.
you're at
Actually, no.
disadvantage.
I'm gonna actually shoot at this one because
What's the range on the short bow?
it's 8320.
Oh,
8320.
okay. All right.
But I'm actually gonna shoot at the other one so I can use my sneak attack.
Huh? Shoot at the other one. What other one?
This one, basically, because they're within 5 feet.
But there's a lot of people you gotta shoot through. It's gonna be a hard shot.
That's a small person you're shooting.
Yes. It's-
Then yeah, I'll just shoot at this one then.
They're shorter than you are. So-
They call these orclings, like you're a halfling.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot at this one.
all right, Archer.
Natural 20.
Oh man!
Oh, but bad damage. 7 points.
All right, put 7 on him. That's good damage. That's good.
Go for it.
Well, you roll a 1 on one of your dice. or
And then
something?
a 2 on the
Oh,
other.
yes. All right.
I was like, oh,
Nice. All right. Good job, Lindor. You do anything else?
no.
All right. So we got our little archer there. Who's got to protect these little guys.
I'm yelling for him to come at me.
Come at me, bro.
No, he's gonna fire at ugly faced grin there. So it's gonna take a shot.
Come at me, bro.
Move him up 10 feet.
Oh, no, actually, I dropped my bow and pull out a short sword. Okay.
All right. All right. It takes a shot at you. What's your AC?
18.
All right.
That's a
Oh, you
chainmail and a
love
shield.
me?
I cleared
Man,
these.
you have only 2 because
So,
I'm wearing studded leather. And I have a
all right. So yeah, it just shoots over your head. Ha! All right. However, now you have the other melee.
Perfect.
No, you have a 17.
Oh, wait, what just happened? Did someone swing at my ally?
No, one was shot. One was shooting. The others, so no, it was a shot. What the little short bow, kobold shot at Cornelius and missed. But now you have 3 of them with their little spears trying to poke at you. And Grisna, what's your armor class?
19.
Yeah, you guys are armored to the teeth. Damn it. You know I'm bad at rolling, guys. Hey, give me a shot. Like
That's
a
my
15 here. Alright, so they're all trying. I know they're all trying to stab. There's a lot of Was worried that was gonna be any tanks. Now we got like 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you would have paid attention to that. Good top.
All right, so yeah, they all miss. They all poke at you. However, they just can't. One of them's close enough to, but can't get through the armor. Just can't get through your armor.
You are the best among them. Stand back, everyone else. I shall take this one.
All right, Ozikar, you are up.
You shall meet Morgulog in the afterlife.
And they
Stupid kobolds, you try to test Ozichar and his comrades.
Oh,
Oh,
it's dead.
yeah.
It's dead.
20 something.
Oh yes, that is.
And then like a ton of damage.
11 points damage.
Yeah. Ah! Goes down. Yep.
Bye
Here you go, Morgulog. I know you haven't tasted blood in a while.
All right, Isla, you are up.
Alright, shot with my longbow.
Yeah, I mean, there's that archer that's still left if you want to shoot at that one, or
Is anyone injured from the group?
no,
Alright, I'll just shoot at the archer.
other than the halfling's pride. All right, go ahead and shoot.
18 hits, right?
Yes.
Alright, it'll be up 7 points of damage again.
14.
Yep, down, goes down. Oof, takes.
I got the 6.
An arrow goes right through his chest as he goes
I
down.
did half of the ear. I mean, I
And
did
then
half.
do you move at all, or do you stay where you're at?
I'll stay where I'm at.
All right, perfect. All right, Lexi.
All right. Just gonna circle around. She does.
Spring again.
Right here. And she will attack that one.
That's the one race that I want. That's the race I want to play. If I ever do play, the next character I create, I want to create it.
So she's gonna swing on
Well,
this
if you
one.
were playing a rogue to buy
Oh, only a 10 AC.
That is gonna miss.
Miss.
This
However,
moves out of your way.
she pulls her other short sword.
Okay.
Oh, and fumble. No, it's a 4.
Oh, okay.
Oh, a poorly colored 4, mind you, but not opposite the 20. So,
All right.
jeez, another 10.
All right. Yeah. Let's let go.
Saving throw versus fear for me.
All right, Aaron, you are up.
Okay. No more archers.
That's good.
That's true.
And you can't really shoot them, so you might as well move.
Sure you
Well,
can.
if you move,
Oh, yeah.
I can, but it won't do anything.
what?
Not shoot the archers.
No, not the archers, but if you
No,
move
yeah.
and then take the shot.
Yeah. You go up and shoot, or you can switch to a different weapon.
I'm gonna move.
Yeah.
Build those few that I could sleep.
And just pop.
So yeah, you can move and shoot over the dwarf's
Although maybe
head,
we
right?
want to keep one alive so we can talk to it and see who else is here.
No. I shall not.
We're not here to talk.
We're here to be champions of the caves of
Talk
chaos.
is for
Yes,
people
but
who work at
information.
cough.
And you've already knocked 2 of them out, so why would we keep one alive?
I meant one of the 2 that I knocked out.
That's only.
Of course, we will not slay a foe that is unconscious and not fighting.
Well, you know.
14.
We are not.
14 hits. Yep. So you just right over Rizna's head.
Another 10 pointer.
Oh, arrow right into its skull and goes down. Very nice.
We'll just make sure to cut off one of their ears, each of them, that you
All
put to
right.
sleep.
Cornelius, you
Amazing
were up.
fighting, Aaron. Nice job.
You guys purge the
I
evil
get 4
through it.
ears.
I will take the
I
fight.
approve.
4 ears.
I want to take the fight.
Is there anything awake?
They're all down? Is that true?
There's one. There's one.
One right in front of me.
Oh yeah, I thought there was one still right in front of you. Yeah, right next to Riz.
First
Right
area.
next to you.
Don't fumble. Don't
Feel
fumble.
the
Don't
wrath.
fumble.
A Cordal! Oh, I hate myself. Cordal didn't listen to me on this one. That's a total of a 10.
Oh no, Huck just swipes right over his head, just misses and knocks down.
Flash downward, not across your body.
Rizna, you are up.
Alright, we'll see if I can actually do something. I'll take a swing. There's only one left, right?
Yes.
Alright, we'll take a slice down at this man. Alright, I will miss too. AC 9 is not good enough.
Yeah, right over his head. It's just ducking and weaving there.
Just being attacked by like 50 different things. Like,
That's awesome.
Oliver, you are up.
Now you're fighting some small creatures.
Oh, Jesus. And he points the staff again, this time at the one that's standing. Hold on, my friend! He casts Fireball.
Okay.
I said fireball.
Oh, so did I.
I said fireball.
Oh, jeez.
I was
I
like,
disguise. I kill all of you. I am the missing elf.
I was going to kill the demonic creature no matter what.
and then I'll stab him in the back twice. And
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you roll?
26 total.
That hits.
Okay. And then that's 7 points of damage.
All right, it's still up.
Wow.
But it's on fire. Anything on it that's flammable that got hit.
All right. All right, it's a new round. Lindor, you are up.
He pulls out the second short sword, and I've calculated this movement, and it'll make it right here and be able to attack with both.
Okay, go ahead.
So first one is me. Natural 20.
Unbelievable. It's outstanding.
7 points,
All right, yeah.
and then the uppercut with the second one
All
as
right.
it just cleaves through him.
All right,
Nice.
it goes down. Very
Very
nice.
Then he runs up to the two asleep ones and just takes them out.
Did you roll your extra damage?
Yeah, and then I just need to roll the extra damage for the other attack, which
No.
No, I meant
You're
23.
you're a rogue, right?
That's okay. You still hit.
26 would have been a crit.
You get your extra d6 because
Yeah,
other
you
people are
get
fighting.
sneak attack.
The sneak attack would be on my second attack.
You want to be on the first attack?
It's on either first or second. It
You
doesn't
can,
matter.
yeah, I used it on my second. I would use it on my second one because,
Very weird, man.
Never mind.
It doesn't matter. It's dead.
and then that's 6 more points.
Okay. That's good.
It's dead already.
All right.
Then I run up to the two asleep ones and be like, "What?"
Did anybody stop him?
What, from killing each other?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'll kill one.
That's not the moral thing to do.
Fine.
Wait,
Stop.
wait.
Sheathe your swords
Yeah, I'll
before
try
I
something.
put you into that tree over there.
Put down your swords or I will
He's
put
right
you to sleep.
So I'm gonna say though, just because he's right there, because he had that extra attack, he does stab down into one. He kills the one, but you still have the other one before he gets to it.
I kick him.
Stops. Huh?
Fair enough.
I kick him.
Come in the butt.
I kick. No, I kick him far. Like,
Go ahead and roll.
DC 16. Nope.
nope, I know.
All right. Just
I dodge out of it.
air foot. All right.
To never kill something that is defenseless. You thief.
The mighty warriors, surrounded by the evil kobolds, fought its way to the end. There were two of them that were felled by a mighty spell of sleep, and the cowardly little child human stabbed one to death.
All right. So what do you guys do? So you're in the middle of so right now, yeah, you're between these two. Now you're really between, almost in the sense of these two copse of woods. You have one. You have the one cave that you guys were heading towards, but you also now see another cave where these kobolds were coming from. That is across from you, probably about 100 feet still. To that cave where the kobolds came from, and you're about probably about 50 feet. So maybe it's about 150 feet or so to where the kobolds came from. Yeah, this is on ground level too.
Let's cut the ears off. And
But however, that one has more. There's some trees. You can see their cave entrance, but there's trees growing up also up the ravine as well. There's some trees growing up in that area.
let's cut the ears off.
All right, so you're gonna cut their ears off and then head towards their cave.
Corral spoken.
All right.
I'll follow you.
And I'll drag this one that's asleep behind us.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, let's move to the trees and interrogate him. There's trees on the way to the cave, right?
Yeah, so you can definitely, if you drag.
We have 10 ears. We have
He's
10
likely
ears.
from the
I get
cave where his
4.
friends are. Let's find out
What?
what he has to say.
I think we just killed his friends.
Probably they live in a band of more than me.
Yeah, I think they
Yes, I suppose they do.
Okay.
All right, so you drag that one off and cut the ears. You guys each maybe grab one of the bodies or whatever,
I got
drag them
4.
off into
I got 4 ears
the
too.
woods.
Just drag one of the bodies.
Okay. All right, and so you guys are it's a heavily topped area of wood, so you go deeper in there and definitely take care of cutting the ears off, and you'll have this
Hiding the
kobold.
bodies under some brush, maybe.
You're in trees. You're in plenty of. You don't. It's really heavily. These trees are. It's very heavy trees.
We fight as a group. We turn the ears in as a group. Put them all in one bag. That's my suggestion.
I agree.
I agree, since we have a murderous thief among us.
Okay.
Don't let the thief carry them.
Carry the dirty ears.
My sect of Cornellism doesn't have anything against
Other than the small
putting down
who wants to carry it?
evil,
Yeah.
even if it's asleep.
All right. Yeah. No, you would.
The cleric of Cordol here seems to be, priest of Cordol seems to be rather matter of fact. Perhaps he should carry them. I'm sure we can trust him.
I'm sorry.
They're asking you to carry the ears, the sack of ears.
Ear bag.
I can do this.
All right. So why don't we keep track of this?
14.
So you have
Oh, so
right
how
now
much more
14.
the living one? No,
Right
not
now you have
14.
14.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
Because I cut one of the ears off of the living one.
That would wake him up.
You know, you should
You
have
have
really
to
cut that
shake them to wake.
That's how I wake him up. I cut his ear
I
off.
imagine I killed myself by accidentally waking up a creature before.
I hit the creature that's sleeping.
Yeah. Woke up and killed me.
All right. So you cut the ear off. It's
I grabbed
Bubble.
it.
Who speaks? Whatever this foul creature speaks. Goblin, kobold. Those are, you speak
Goblin.
I speak Draconic.
Yeah, I speak Draconic if that's.
Yeah,
Okay.
I speak Draconic too.
all right. So what do you say to it? You cover its mouth so it stops barking.
I say, what was your business here? I said,
We were intruding in his place.
I say, how do we get through here?
Small human.
In Draconic, I say to him, who lives here, silly?
Looks at you. Looks at
Better
both
to
of
ask how many of them are there.
That's a better question because he knows how to count.
So you uncover his mouth?
Yeah.
We live here. You're intruders.
How do we make it through here?
You won't make it through here. You're all gonna die.
Not before you.
Yeah. So kill all my friends.
Was that all of your friends, or do you have more that we can send you back to?
What? Yeah, there's thousands of us in the caves.
Thousands of you.
Thousands.
I just don't remember.
Bill, can I make an insight check on that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty outrageous. I don't think you even need to roll, dude.
I got a 14.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's lying.
Thousands, does that mean that there's 2 You're obviously lying, little one. Now, I don't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee anything, but I could possibly spare your life, or at least talk to these people about sparing your life, if you will talk to me cooperatively.
But you already cut my ear off!
Yes, I regret that you did that to you. I'm so sorry. But I still got one ear.
Why would I tell you? You're just gonna go in there and kill our clan.
Well, maybe, but that's beside the point. Don't you want to save yourself?
Not if it's telling you how to kill all my clan of thousands. Yes, we're the clan of 1,000 kobolds.
So you have 1,000 kobolds in that little cave.
That's right. The cave opens up.
Game open.
There's thousands of us.
Are there any other group clans that you'd like to get rid of so that you can be?
Yeah. Why don't you go back across where you're running with that fat dwarf and go in that cave. There's goblins in there.
What is that?
You cross in the big cave, you say?
Go where your fat dwarven friend was going, and go there. There's goblins. Go kill the goblins.
We prefer robust.
I'm not robust. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to sparing the kobolds if we go kill them.
Now we're talking Interrogating.
I know.
Yeah, definitely.
I got
will turn around and go over this, and I will say, there's goblins in that other cave over there.
Find out who the leader is in charge of this area, so we can either kill them or avoid them.
Who is the leader in this area? I'll say Interrogating.
Leader? What do you mean? There's a leader of all of them.
Who is
We don't have, there's no one in charge of all of us.
he? You each have your own leaders.
Of course.
Okay, so what?
Go kill the goblins.
Yeah.
So are you all contested against each other?
No. But go kill the goblins.
Who are you allied with?
Not the goblins.
Okay, so who is it? So we may avoid you.
Go kill the goblins.
Who are the goblins allied with?
What if I tell you, you let me go?
Well, I will at least ask the others if it's possible to let you go.
Then I'm not telling. Okay, you ask them all right now in your language, the common tongue, and you ask them if they let me go, and as I get to the thicket of the woods, I'll yell their ally, and then I'll run away.
I don't think that's how this is going to
Then I'm not telling you the ally.
I don't.
But you go ahead and ask him. Go ahead and ask him. Go ahead in your common tongue.
In common tongue, I say, I think he wants his other ear taken off.
In Draconic back, he says, "That's not what I said at all."
I take his ear off. He says that in common.
He doesn't say it in
Oh,
common. He says
No,
it
wait.
He says it
He
in
says
common.
it in common. I go take him on his ear off.
He's
No.
going,
Give it a minute.
And I attempt to intimidate him.
You will tell me. So here's me, Interrogating. Here's some information that we could possibly need. We're looking for an ogre. Do you know where there's an ogre that's in here supposedly?
he said, maybe. I just might know where he lives. If he's that,
Is he alone, or does he have other ogres with him?
there's other ogres.
And other creatures?
There's a lot of creatures here.
I meant that are with the ogre.
I don't know. I don't go hang out with the ogre. Me and him don't sit down and drink tea or whatever else guys drink, or beer, or wine, whatever else we might steal from you. I don't like tea much. I had it once.
This is getting, you're making me hungry. He reaches into the bag and pulls that sweet cake out that he was nibbling on. Oh, this is so good.
That looks really good.
Yes, would you like a bite?
I'll have a bite, sure.
Then tell me where the ogre is and how many of them there are with him, and you can have the rest of this cake.
No, why don't you,
I give you my word as an inquisitor of Cordal. If you show us the way there, I will assure that
What's he saying? Is he saying that in Draconic?
He already asked us in human or common.
No, yes,
And I speak Draconic.
He has not spoken in common.
Well, there you go.
Okay. So you say it in Draconic?
Yep. And
Okay, so
I'm bound by my word.
you let me go, and I'll tell you where.
No, you will lead us there.
No. I'm not doing that. I'll tell you if you let me go. And at the thicket of the wood, I'll tell you exactly where the ogre is.
Is he wasting our time?
No, I'm not wasting your time. He
Does he say
says it
that?
common.
Now he finally speaks common.
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm not wasting your time.
As I lick the blood off of the ear where I cut off.
You're gonna protect me from him.
You haven't given me the information yet.
We both were.
Rista, I'm gonna relay all of this information to Rista that's been said by Cornelius now.
But I mean it. I will protect
What are
her.
we going to do?
Oh,
Tell him,
these
get
guys.
the info right now where
To
the
my
ogre
best
is,
of my
or we're gonna kill him. None of these weird traveling and running shit though.
Very well. So our leader, Rista, has decided that if you tell us now where the ogre is, and with the other information, we'll let you go. Otherwise, we're not going to, we will just kill you here now and not worry about the rest of the fight on our own.
Okay. See the cave. It's the cave up. Somebody went on Twitch. The cave that's up on the hillside there, the ravine, past the goblins. That's where you'll find the ogre.
Oh, God, way up there?
Is that in common, Bill?
Yeah, he says it.
Alright, then insight.
All right, go ahead and make a roll.
Yeah, and someone else too, please.
Yeah, I will.
I'm not a very insightful person.
13. My dice are on shit.
It's one of my classes.
What did you roll?
I don't do very
You got a 14.
Modified.
You're not sure. He could be lying. He might not be lying. I mean, he's definitely. I mean, you guys are dealing with him, and you have a feeling that he thinks he's dying here anyways. And
Bobo,
There's no, I have an idea.
if you lie to us, we're gonna go into your cave and kill all 1,000 of your friends.
you probably still are gonna do that.
No, we don't care about you. We're not here for you.
Okay.
Do you have a different answer now about the ogre?
No.
Rista,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Dolly, go ahead.
perhaps we should have someone go check the cave out before we go all the way up there. And then they can come back and tell us if Cole is telling the truth. And then
human.
if the Cole is telling the truth, we can let them go like we said. If not, then we can do what you said. What else you said?
She looks around. Does anyone look stealthy or rangerly?
I'm still.
Well,
We're not going to send
Aaron.
somebody
You
up
have
on.
Aaron and you have
Oh,
Alexi. So
some door.
We're not going to send somebody up on the word of a kobold.
We can actually
yeah,
set
but
them up.
if you trip and get stabbed with a, you're right now. You're not on the clout of being stealthy. You had a fork in your hand and you tripped over a rock. So you're not quite
I'm going to
making
give him a chance.
it. Quite making
I
this.
think we stay together.
Yeah,
Go to that cave.
I don't trust the kobold.
Let's kill him and leave.
Wasn't it daylight out right now?
I give him my
Yeah, it's probably about right now about 4 in the afternoon.
Why don't we tie the kobold up and bring him with us? And then, if he's telling the truth, we let him go like we said. Because that would be the right thing to do.
Just let him go. We don't care. One more vermin. I don't want to drag vermin around with me.
Yeah, me neither. Let's take his other ear, close his mouth.
Yeah, that's not putting off his ear.
His ear is worth loot.
It's a lie.
I think it's casting.
That's dishonorable, and it's not put in any way, shape, or form, and I will not.
Well, he does not honor the victims he kills and pillages when he kills villagers.
And 2 wrongs make it right. Who are you, Donald Trump?
Who is that person?
He's some nasty-looking ogre, I think.
And he's very orange.
So, I'm going to actually go up to the kobold, untie him, and hand him a sweet cake and say, here you go.
Well, when he does that, I cut his ear off. That I was holding on to cutting off.
I'm going to try to protect him by putting myself in front of him.
All right. Well, he was already holding.
I was already holding his ear.
He's already been saying he's holding his ear.
Oh, you're holding your ear the whole time?
Got the
Yeah.
knife out. Yeah, he's been holding the ear. The knife out, threatening to cut it off.
I told you he was a demon, foul creature, and I tried to thump him with my staff. That's just one hand.
I'll stand between them. Jeez.
All right. Yeah.
Ollie,
Then I
demon,
punch
stop.
you this time.
You just made a wizard. You just made a friend with a kobold, and you're calling me the demon.
You are a demon.
You don't know his backstory. You don't know. Perhaps he's some poor orphan who can't help himself and it has to be like this. He might do really good at part. You don't know.
Ollie, let's go fight the ogre. Come on. Demon, you want to fight the ogre, right?
Yes. I'd like to kill some more kobolds
God,
first.
at least he admits he's a demon finally.
Get rid of this thing. Just let it go. Who cares about it?
We have
I
16
go,
years.
go, little one. Get behind me and run.
We'll go kill him all later if he lies to us.
All right. So what are you doing with the kobold? You gonna untie him and let him go?
I'm not gonna kill him. I'm taking his ears.
I stopped
I
that.
never killed him.
All right. So you slice.
I sliced his
Stop
ears.
him. That's silly.
I'm not good.
All right. So you slice the ear. He barks again.
Not evil either.
Well,
Now, what if he runs back and tells his friends about us, and they come back with 40 of them?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we go to his
What
cave?
if you get more ears? Won't you, demon?
Shouldn't we go to his cave then, so we don't
The gold
get
comes to
ambushed?
us. Now let's just go. Let's go to the ogre. Get right to the business.
Maybe I missed something in translation. Did he say which cave the ogre was in?
Yeah, sure
Except
did.
for one really high up in the middle of the
Go
cavern.
see, and then tell me if it's
Yeah. He said the one I described. Yeah. Okay. Great.
But there was a lot of speaking kobold involved. Or speaking.
Oh, you said
Con-
that part in common. Can you climb well, Catwoman?
Sure. Can I climb while things are shooting at me? No. I prefer not to.
Well, you probably climb better when things are shooting at you. If history is an example of what I've seen. I climb twice as fast when things are shooting at me.
Yeah.
famished.
I'm just
okay,
thinking.
that's true.
Ollie's got on the ground, grabs it of the ham out of the bag, pulls it out, and just takes a big bang and puts the ham back in the bag and grabs a piece of bread.
Let's go
Hit you
punch
on the
the
head
biggest
with
thing
some
in the
hard
nose we can. Ollie, stop eating. You gotta climb soon.
Did your mother ever tell you can't climb up for an hour after dinner?
Remember when you dirtied your pants last time we climbed? It wasn't pretty. Lot of switching when you gotta
so-
climb, alright?
We're trying to go find an ogre now.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we were meant to do.
Yes.
My-
But we could do other things before we have to go do that.
One thing I
I mean, I'm,
Now the big bad demon is scared.
I'm,
I'm gonna cut the ears off a kobold, but a real person, a real enemy, I don't want to do it yet.
No, just the calculation of that hill is very far, and there's a lot of in-betweens.
I wonder what Morgulon would think of your
don't you write in your book and go in the, on the shitter and put yourself to sleep while the big boys do things?
Yes, like run away from the ogre.
No one's running. We're going towards the goblins.
Just so
Alright,
I'm
let's
clear,
talk. Where do we want to go?
we
wanna
let the kobold go. Why?
Goblins.
I have no idea.
I want to go to the goblins.
The little guy wants to fight littler guys. That's understandable.
Should we maybe
Elves, what do
just?
you think?
Should we just? I'm
Aaron,
fine with
Ilya.
killing kobolds.
Goblins are more evil.
All right, I guess we should take a vote on this. Who wants to go kill the kobolds?
Who wants to go kill the goblins?
I mean, the kobolds know we're here. We might as well just go
Yeah,
kill
I
them.
guess I'll change it then. Yeah.
I would rather kill the weaker things first.
I'm not
Yes.
a good halfling. I
So
was a good
that's 5 for the
halfling, but now
kobolds.
I'm not
Are you sure?
Which one? What is it?
Portal set the path before us.
Rizna, would you be down to go kill the kobolds since they know we're here or are going to know we're here?
Where's the-
I'd prefer to go fight the biggest thing, but if you really want to go kill little guys, let's go.
Rizna, really? Let's leave the kobolds alone. Go after the goblins if you must.
All right. Well,
Walking towards the
us
kobolds.
paladins will go kill the kobolds. Sorry. Bye.
And us.
All right, so Cornelius and Ozikar and Aaron.
And Alex.
I don't like your gun.
Alexi,
Look at me a little bit, please.
they all start
Very
walking
sporty.
towards the kobold entrance. Does everybody else follow suit?
You coming with kitten?
Sure.
All right. That Ollie, I guess, is your
Ali.
pouting at the back.
I want
Listen,
to
we know
hide.
Rizna.
Oh, sure, whatever they want, that's fine. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
hiding behind cat lady.
Alright, I suppose. At least we let him go, right? We did what we said we were
We tell you.
Maybe one of the archers kill
I have
them.
my. Really, you don't.
All they're checking out
Cross my mind.
fast.
Cross my mind.
Could I hide again?
Kill the kobold as he ran away.
Could I hide before we enter the cave?
Rizna's gonna try to lead again. Get up front and lead.
She's too small to get up front. We already left.
No,
I know.
Are you running? No.
Unless you
But
don't-
Rizna's trying to make her way up front.
Help me, guys!
Wait,
Be in the front.
can I roll a stealth check to hide behind the cat one?
Okay.
Little human, it'll be easiest to hide behind the big guy. Why do you keep trying to hide behind the
You
nimble
know
cat?
Catwoman has it.
Yeah, no worse even.
Yeah, there's a fat man back there you can hide behind.
Yeah, he's twice as big as the Catwoman.
Not 3 times.
I'm gonna just roll the stealth.
Apologies.
My name is Alexia. If it's too long and too hard, you can call me Alex.
Say it louder.
No,
please.
not calling.
Okay. Alexia.
Alexia, thank you.
Here, find a halfling. Instead of his Viking Norseman.
Viking Norseman
Is he
archer.
kneeling down? He's using a Viking archer.
Yeah, he's on his knees. I was like, why is it so small?
Yes.
As we get close to the cave entrance, in Draconic, in a rather loud voice, Ollie's gonna say, "Run, little kobolds, run! The big bad demon is coming to get you."
Wait, use the same.
All right.
I see you brought quite the compatriot with you, dwarf.
Here.
I said it in Draconic, so unless
You're still yelling.
You're
That's
yelling.
what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? Correct?
Well, you-
I don't care what you're saying.
I got a
You're yelling.
23 total.
Whatever.
Yeah, you're barking. Yeah, yelling.
I thought all he cared about was food, but apparently he cares about kobold lives. Kobold lives matter, right?
Ollie's quiet.
I got a 23 total.
Okay, buddy. All right, cool. All right, so
I'm just going to keep my word, unlike the quote-unquote,
What word did you make with him?
And
that we would
was
let them go.
He's let go. He gave us terrible information.
Demon, Ollie likes to talk. Just stay focused, alright? Ollie will talk to you all day. Just look for.
oh, we lost. That's great.
The tent.
Alright, that's funny. Just look. falls in the pit.
Trap!
The rest of discovered a trap. Alright. You back. Alright.
Back, sorry.
So the entrance is 8-foot high cave, partially obscured with some vegetation. It looks about 30 feet deep into the cave, and these walls are pretty smooth, actually, believe it or not. And the cave, after it gets about 30 feet, it tees off into an intersection, so it goes to your left and right, or really in a sense west to east.
I'll try to look for tracks on the ground. I do have survival.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll.
All right. Wow, I'm on fire with shit. I can't see. I say to the left, everyone. To the left.
Is there any light in this tunnel?
Just barely, just a little bit from, hardly any. I mean, really, you can see about 10 feet in, and then, and you guys, the ones with dark vision and such, it tees off. But it's not lit in a sense. There's no torch lights coming from either direction or any other sort of
Well, then I'll my staff up and I'll say, "Come here!" In a loud voice, and suddenly it lights up with light.
Okay.
I'm gonna move to the back. Ollie, turn off the light and be quiet.
I can't see without the light.
Turn off the light.
Really, you want to move to the back and talk to
I'm
Ollie.
like a demon. I can't see in the dark, and I'm scared of the dark.
Let's raise it on someone's shoulder and move back to the front.
Alright. Okay.
You're not
I'm sorry.
I'll take her.
Put her back. Put her back.
We got the friend you killed.
I know,
All right, then we take the left branch, though.
Okay, so you're heading in.
Yeah, I've learned from our other adventures. Go left.
I'm gonna leave a little more distance
That was a
between
right.
them, but I'm not getting rid of the light.
Alright. Rizna, give me a perception check.
All right. Actually, pretty good at this, and I'm also really good at rolling for shit. Alex, you're rolling for me the rest of the day. That's
Alright. So it's Rizna's walking down. We can do this.
Did she try to move side?
No, it's the perception.
Yeah, this little silence here.
Yeah, like us three are another no silent here.
Decks of 10.
Good thing is Celestia just goes, yeah, that's been gone for the opportunity for that was before the
Let's go for the cave!
You know, when the wizard breathes out loud, wait, shoot him in the dog.
No stuff.
sneaking around probably wasn't going to be useful. At least in keeping the group quiet.
Yeah, figures hanging over there.
Oh, yeah, the cave.
Right there.
Is anyone else complaining about light or just Ollie?
I can't see either.
Ollie and Grumpy.
Tree
and Grim.
I need the light.
I like.
You guys must be hanging together in the back.
You want to be
You need help.
Yeah, the halfling, I don't think has dark vision, right?
I don't know.
Lindor, you got dark vision? Alex does.
I thought they
Alex,
They're
you have
pretty
dark
shitty thieves if they did.
Need help?
Now I realize why I haven't played a human in a long time.
I don't have dark vision.
You do or don't?
Don't.
Alright, so you're screwed too. Get to the back.
I have back.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, you're ready for this? I'm so nice. Look at that. Yeah, witch up.
Are we coming this way?
No.
Yeah, which up, that was out. we actually going to be doing this fight?
I'll just say what happens and then we'll.
Getting tired there, buddy?
Oh no!
No, I'm alright.
But we're gonna take the game. Okay, short swords ready.
All right. So
My short swords are
as Rizda's going in, and all of a sudden, she falls into a 10-foot deep pit.
Oh dang!
Oh.
And then, can you go ahead and give me an acrobatics check?
Acrobatics, alright. That is a 10.
What's your Alex roll for you?
No, you're right, thank you. I'm not moving too digits here, I think, the whole day.
All right, so she falls down, tumbles down into the pit. You take 5 points of damage.
Alright, that hurts.
Yeah, that hurts. What's your hit points, Rizna?
14.
All right, so 14. And then from
Found the first trap.
yeah, from each side, from one side, from your west, you see some giant rats heading towards the pit, and then from your east, you see some kobolds converging in on the pit, and that's where we're gonna stop. For
During this snowstorm, really?
You are a follower of Cord. Or Koth.
When you say Seth, you got really hard to hear.
Koth is the evil chaos god.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and stop for the evening as Rizna is down in the pit.
Rizna is the new torn.
Oh,
Rizna's
That
replaced
better-
the torn, everybody.
Oh!
yeah, Rizna's the new Torn. With trolls like that, yes.
Terrible.
Yeah, so we will we'll be back in a couple weeks. We have a little short break on a Saturday because somebody's going to another state to play football or try for football. But we'll be back. But Wednesday we'll be back on for Tales from the Yawning Portal, 7:30 Central Time, where they're chasing down some ogre hunters before they go on to wipe them out. And so we'll be back with that on Wednesday night, 7:30, and then we'll be back here in a couple weeks with Into the Borderlands. And I think that's about it. Hey, if you made it this long, you better be hitting that follow button or subscribe button on Twitter, please. Thank you.
And remember, it's cool to be a geek, and I beat him to it.
Pass it on. Have a good night. Thanks.
I was ready for that one. I was like,
Be pretty.